Hello, Greg, are you there with me? You waiting to get in? Just make sure now. I decided to join it early for anyone who was waiting, just to see if it's running smoothly. Check my Wi-Fi. All good. All right. I started early just in case, because last time there was some technical difficulties. um, so Greg, I'll let you know now. Let's see. Let's have a look. So if anyone is in yet, just let me know. Give a thumbs up. If not, I wait. And once this starts, I'm just going to start talking. Could be talking to myself right now. Okay, perfect. Yeah, we got someone. Give us a thumbs up and let us know you can hear everything okay. So we know. All right. Still got another 9 minutes until we officially start. Aiden, Greg, let us know. I'm just going to stay active. Put it on early so that everyone can get in. Anyone there want to just give a thumbs up? Let us know you can hear me okay. Check my mic. It's all good. Got another 5 minutes there, so I'm not going to bother saying anything until it's the time, just to make sure that I've got it up and running. Very good. Wait and see now. Got 2 people in there, do we? Give us a thumbs up. Let us know if you're okay and you're able to get in all right. Then we know. Got 2 people now. 2 people on. Welcome. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know that you can hear everything okay. And very good. We got more people arriving. Almost 9 o'clock. Good to see people popping in. I just want to know that the sound is okay. You can hear me all right. You might not be able to, so I could just be talking to myself. I planned it out better this time though, so it should be a lot better. Yeah, we're nearly at the time now, so I'm going to start it soon. Just thought I'd get in early and make sure that everything was going smoothly. So far, seems no one can hear me. There we go now. Be kicking it off in 2 minutes. Just gonna actually check it on my phone, so if I can hear it on my phone, it'll be alright. Listening to myself. There we go. So, just 2 minutes there now. Anyone who is watching, pop your questions in, and I will answer away. I'm just going to start talking though, and then I will catch you up on the chat. The chat's just up to my right here, so I will start answering questions once they start coming in. But I'm just going to talk because I'm going to record this and put it up anyway, and for anyone who's listening. So we kick things off soon. Just keep going into the features box and just keeps telling me you don't have access to this feature. Great. Wonderful. All right, 1 minute and then we're starting. So we're almost due to start. Feel like I should have a countdown for this. All right, 9 o'clock. So I'm just going to start talking. Hi all, and welcome back to my second Q&A. Yeah, we're going to try and do it a bit better this time. So anything you have to ask me, pop it in the chat over to the right, and I will answer it. I'll get back to it as soon as I can anyway, and I'll try and stay on topic. Hope more people join, but if they don't, I'm just going to upload this anyway, so we shall see. I've checked my chats there anyway, just to see if people could join or if they couldn't. Seems there's a few people who are struggling to get in and access the chat. So, yeah. Well, it is what it is. So, I'm gonna start now, and just gonna start speaking. So, it's mad weather out here. The wind is insane at the moment, and we had another weather warning, so it seems like they're on the rise. I've lost count the amount of different names for the storms. And yeah, managed to get to 8 months sober, and I'm really happy about that. And it hasn't been easy, and I've spoken about slipping up and other addictions that I have, like gambling and eating. Got the tank on me, so there's a reason for that. And I think you're definitely more susceptible to it when you've given up something. So like that void that's now been left by giving up alcohol, that instant dopamine hit's not there. Do you know what I mean? And I find that I'm a lot more pissed off with people a lot more easily, because I'm kind of more with it. I feel more confident now, and that's definitely something that you get when you quit alcohol. Not immediately now, you do get a flood of shitty feelings, and you kind of feel like the clarity that comes back isn't all good. So there's a lot of clarity that comes back, but a lot of it is negative. Some of it is, oh my God, I can't believe the way I let people treat me. And I spoke about that in the video I made talking about sobriety, and it's not all good. It's not all plain sailing. And there are a lot of negatives, and you've got to kind of, ride the wave, as they say. But something happened to me yesterday, and I'm going to make a video talking about that as well, but I want to discuss it in this. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't already discuss it. So as you all know, I love sea swimming, and more often than not, I get into the Irish swim. I get into the Irish sea and I swim, and it's really good for me and clears the head. It's great for recovery as well. So if you're doing anything manual, it's really good for repairing muscles and just sitting back. I just put the hands on the head and I lie, and I let the salt water hold me up. Anybody see Elton? Elton's making an appearance for the interview. An interview with Elton John. But I was working with this Ukrainian girl, Yulia, and I actually saw her. I posted a picture where me and her were giving the peace sign, and Privat, I think that's what she said, means hi in Ukrainian. So Privat to anyone who's watching from Ukraine. And it was really good catching up with her. She asked if I wanted to be added into a group chat because she's decided to take up sea swimming, and I was added to the group chat, and I didn't really know an awful lot of people in it, but I was added to it. It's a positive enough group chat most of the time, or so I thought, because the story that I'm about to tell will completely go against that. But it was annoying, it really was, because I found it very positive. I went swimming last weekend, like I went on Friday when I finished my shift, and I worked down by the sea, so it's really good. It's really nice to, you're breaking into a sweat because it's manual work. We've been cutting back the grass there, and we lift big heavy bags, trash bags, or bags of rubbish as we call it. And you are tired after it. My lower back especially has been killing me, so just putting my hands on my head, lying back in the water, going for a little breaststroke. And then meeting Dermot. So my new friend Dermot, was really good to bump into him. And he was like, "Oh, are you Daniel?" So I see I've made a splash in the group chat, pardon the bun, but I really got on well with him. And then there's another mad old fella down there, Jimmy, I think his name is. There's a Jimmy and there's a Russell, and I'll still talk to them. But I get very excited, and because it's a lovely day or whatever, I'll post lots of different videos, and I'll just say to people, "It's lovely today." You just kind of post in the group. You get your phone out and you're like, "Oh, here's a picture of it. Here's a video of it. Lovely day today. Very swimmable," or you'll say it's very dangerous. I wouldn't recommend if you're not confident, that kind of way. And yeah, it's definitely left me in a positive way, and I feel a lot better when I get in. And if I don't get in, I feel a lot worse. So it's kind of like, you know, having people there who are like minded and you can talk to them is really good. So I was walking around yesterday, and I was just cleaning up the beach, which is what I do. And as I was doing it, going around with a little litter picker, there's a group of elves, like older women that go down there, and they're kind of clicky, like that's clicky. I always have weird symbols, but they're all joined at the hip. They're titanium hip, dodgy hips. And I was cleaning the beach anyway. I put up pictures of it and videos. It's lovely down there. It was a beautiful day. Horrible out today, but I'd rather it be nice out when I'm working than when I'm not working. But anyway, I was going by and I was picking up stuff. And as I was going by, I was like, "Oh, look at them! I'll be out there myself soon, and I'll be enjoying it." And I was in a good mood. And then I could hear them talking, and I always say to myself, "Oh, you're just being paranoid." I always say you're just being paranoid. You're being ridiculous. You're making the most out of this, and you know you're not that important that people will be talking about you. So cut that out. And I say that to myself a lot. I'm like, you're not that important. People do not give a shit about you, so don't worry. In a good way to kind of say you're just being paranoid, and that's kind of what I do. And I give people the benefit of the doubt all the fucking time, even when they clearly are talking about me. And you know, I wasn't even trying to listen to them. It's just their voices were carrying. They obviously didn't realise that the guy in the high vis picking up the shit on the beach is also the fellow that's in the group chat. Because I could hear them mentioning Daniel, and I thought someone was calling me at first, so I was like, "What?" Looking around, and then I could hear them kind of laughing and joking about the videos that I put up. Saying, "Oh, does he even swim, or does he just bob the head under and like, the state of him and all this stuff?" And then I could hear my name being mentioned again because it was like, "Who was that?" And I was like, "Oh, Daniel in the group chat," and I was like, "Are they talking about me?" And then I start like, oh boy, I was kind of just going around pretending I was picking stuff up and then listening in. I was like, are they fucking talking about me? And then I started listening. I was like, they fucking are and all, like the cheeky bitches, bad mouthing me. And there was an older man and another woman, and they were kind of separate. And I kind of looked over, and they were kind of just doing their own thing. And I've met the woman before; she's very pleasant, and I was like, I'd be upset if she was saying something about me because I've spoken to her. And I always say hello, wave, and wave at the sea. Said hello to the sea. I wanted to do. Oh, just smiled and waved. But cringy joke out of the way. I could hear them saying something, and in that time, I was kind of like, will I say something back to them? And I was like, no, don't do it. You're just being paranoid again. I was like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm saying it to myself. I'm having an argument with my fucking self. But I was there thinking, no, I know they're saying something negatively about me, so I'm just going to go over and I'm going to say it. So when they got out, I was like, oh, how was it? Was it nice? And they were kind of just smiling at me as if they didn't know me. And then I was like, yeah, piece of advice: if you're going to talk badly about someone, make sure they're not standing on the shoreline listening to you. And I was like, I could fucking hear you, you know. Your voices carry, and I could hear what you were saying. It was like, I know that I'm a bit excited and I do post quite a bit, yeah, I will admit that. And one of the women apologised to me and shook my hand and said, oh, look, I'm really sorry about that. That wasn't nice on our part. She then tried introducing me to a bit of couple of the group. Because, like, it wouldn't be, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll be pleasant to them when I see them, but they're not the kind of people you'd be hanging out with because they're obviously like twice your age and they're women as well. So you'd have nothing in common, but it's always nice to meet people and be pleasant with them. And I just felt like that was real catty and bitchy behind my back. And I got really annoyed. I was like, this is something that I thought was really positive, and now you're all bitching about me behind my back, you know. And then like they were apologising, but I was like, "Are you only doing that because you've been caught?" And then I was like, "I think I'm going to leave the group." And when I said it to my family, my mum, my brother, they were both like, they always tend to look at it in a way of, "Have you done something wrong?" You know, and I get that as well. Like you're kind of like, "Well, maybe I did. Maybe I shared too much stuff." And you know, I'm a talker, in case you couldn't tell, which wasn't always the way, you know. But I kind of felt like, no, I make a lot of effort to make other people feel comfortable for their benefit, not mine. You know, I put on a show for everyone. I mask a lot, you know, for other people's benefit. So I was like, I'm not fucking apologising. No, they were in the wrong completely, and just felt kind of shitty, you know. Even though yeah, I got an apology, but it was like they probably would have carried on with it if they didn't think I was listening. That's the God's honest truth. So I left the group chat anyway. I'm still gonna keep doing it regardless. Like I keep swimming and won't be sharing anything with them, so they don't need to fucking worry about it. But you know, it's just it's like when you say it to your family and they kind of invalidate you. You know, you're like, this is kind of who I am. You know, I am expressive and I talk, and you know, because there are people who chat a lot in Ireland, and it's kind of an Irish thing. And there are people that I don't want to listen to necessarily, but I don't be rude to them. I just say, ah, yeah, yeah, that's grand. And look, I'll catch you later. I'll talk to you later. It's not that I don't like you. It's just that I can't talk right now. You know what I mean? So in that way, it's just kind of like I don't see how I'm in the wrong here. Like I change an awful lot for people for their benefit all the time. You know, if I let them in on how I was really feeling, then Jesus, you know, um, I'd explode because there's so many emotions going on at one time. So I don't feel like I should have to apologise or look at myself. You know, I think people just don't like you if you're different, and they think it's funny to bitch about you behind their back, behind your back. And it's been done to me a lot, you know. So I felt kind of invalidated because when I went to my GP, general practitioner, you know, to the doctors, and she kind of was laughing, you know. And I asked my mum, could she come with me just to say what I might not be saying, you know, that kind of way. And like maybe I'm not saying something, and maybe I'm leaving some things out there when I should be actually speaking and going, here's what's happening. And it's not always the easiest environment to open up with the doctor, but she said, laughing, we know you're a bit paranoid, you know, with the hand. And I was like, how fucking invalidating is that, you know, especially when people are saying something about me. I had a boss before who said something about me behind my back, and I could hear him and another fella talking about me. And then when I brought it up with them, they were like, "My God, you're very paranoid. You know, you're always so paranoid and on edge." Like I would say somebody, he'd be like, and I think there's some truth to me being paranoid, but I also think paranoia is something where there's no justification for what you're feeling. Whereas I felt like there was. I felt like people were saying something about me. I could hear them. I said it to them. They knew they'd been caught, and they had to admit to it. You know. Now one of them denied it. I was like, I heard you. You know, someone was definitely saying something about me behind my back in a negative way, and I could fucking hear you. You know, and I don't appreciate that. You know, if you've got something, say it to me. Because I had a laugh at one of them. She's the same name as my grandmother, Judy. So that kind of gives me a bit of a soft spot for her. But it was like, look, yeah, I probably do share too much, but I don't like people going behind my back. I think it's a bit snaky. Well, it's very fucking snaky. So yeah, just put me in a bad mood for the day. And then when you have doctors saying to you something like, you're a bit paranoid, you know, with the hand kind of there, you know, as if your opinion doesn't matter because you blow things out of proportion. I always try to be mannerly. Paul from Adult with Autism, a channel that I really like, says it. He says, I put on a show for your benefit all the time. You know, I put on a mask. I try and do everything for other people's benefit. Like, the funny thing is, I say, like, people are getting more rude, people are getting more ignorant. I sometimes feel like I am too, and I don't like that. You know, I don't like the fact that I am, but hands up, I'll admit to it because I do feel like I am being a bit more direct and rude now because I'll be honest, I'm running out of patience for everybody. I kind of think, fuck them. If they're going to be rude to me, I'm going to be rude back. Unless someone gives me a reason to trust them and be open with them, or, to be nice, I won't, because a lot of people take advantage of that, unfortunately. And I think being autistic, we can be naive. And yeah, it does just get me down sometimes because I had to learn all these rules for etiquette and how you behave and how you function in the world. Like when I was younger, I had to learn all these rules, and I'm very black or white. It's either this or it's that. So I do try and function based on everybody else's rules, and they don't follow them. People tell you this is how you do things, but then they don't do it themselves. And I'm kind of like, why do I have to do it that way then? So I'm kind of like, hold on a second, you're not doing that. So why do I have to? Bit hypocritical, and people are very hypocritical. So I have started thinking my way is not wrong, and I'm not going to change my entire personality just because somebody else is a prick with a boring life who wants to just take the piss out of me. you know, it's been done enough times, and I think I am who I am, and that's fine. And I'm finally saying that. For so long, I didn't think that that was fine, and it made me feel shit. I think I've made huge progress in that regard, and I don't care if people don't like that because I know that I'm not going out of my way to make somebody else's life miserable. You know, I think there's a lesson in there. I did feel a bit shitty, all right, but I also knew I'm not doing anything wrong here. I didn't hurt anyone's feelings. I posted lovely videos of the beach because it looked nice, and even made a few new friends, and now they're after ruining it for me. And I don't want to be in a chat where people are bitching about me behind my back. You know, fuck that. I'm just going to check and see if anybody is in. If anybody has joined, can you give us a thumbs up? Let us know, or just pop your name in, say hi, whatever. And if anyone has any questions, please pop them in because I could go on a rant all day. I'm a nice guy, I promise. I'm going to see if anybody had difficulty joining. Have a look now, see. And if nobody has any questions, I will just keep talking shy. Happily. I'm just going to take a quick moment there to check. Greg, did you manage to get in? Let us know. Maybe it's not popping up. Just see now. Lovely. Good man, Rugby Jacket. You made it. Sorry about the last time. Don't know what happened. The Wi-Fi went down, but it's good now. You can hear me okay? Yeah, all good? Lovely. We're happy to have you. One of my top subscribers. So I'm very happy you're here. Any questions you have, please let us. Oh, very good. Lovely. What's your take on dickheads? People that just rub you up the wrong way. I was just talking about the swimming group chat that I'm in, sea swimming, and caught a bunch of people from the group talking badly about me yesterday. And I was going to leave it. I'd love to get your take on it. They were bitching about me. They were saying, "Oh, the state of him when he puts up the videos." And I know my camera skills can be better. I do. I'll admit that, but I could hear them talking negatively about me, and I thought, "No, fuck this! I'm going to say something to them," and I did. And I got an apology, but part of me was kind of like, "Are they just going to bitch about me behind my back again?" So the group that I was in, I left, which kind of was like I didn't want to leave it because I've met a few friends through it. Dermo, my mate Dermo, we were swimming on Friday last week, and it just feels shitty, when you hear people talking negatively about you behind your back. You're kind of like, my paranoia is justified now. And then when the doctor tells you you're paranoid, I know you're a bit paranoid. So that kind of negates any feelings you have, and it kind of invalidates how you're feeling, even though it was justified. Do you know what I mean? And I always feel like there's justification for things. If you're feeling in a shitty way, there is a reason for that. You know, and I mean, there's a lot of justification in it now. Didn't want to talk too much about current affairs in the world, but I kind of think focus on what you can control nowadays because the world is a fucking mental place. World War Three looks imminent. I've been going down rabbit holes lately looking at the Epstein files, among other things. Doing a lot of research on that. Um, what else was I looking at? Sean Ryan's show. It's a pretty good show, and I was looking at that, and they were talking about Baal and Moloch and all these different demons and Asmodeus. I was only looking at Asmodeus from Supernatural. I love Supernatural. I'm on season 13, and I have to renew my Prime membership. Have to get to season 15. I feel like I have to finish it now. I've come too far to back down. Rugby Jackal, any thoughts on the Six Nations? Love to get your take on that. Bit of rugby talk just for now, but I did say I would answer anything, and I definitely wouldn't mind talking rugby. If anyone has any questions, fire away. Don't feel anxious. Don't feel like I'm going to bite. I will answer anything. And I'm just going to keep talking while people do type away because, did I miss anything? No, I didn't. Yeah, it's the final of the Six Nations, and I don't know if anybody's interested, but I know Rugby Jackal, you're definitely interested. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I don't see England beating France. France just have to get a win. What did you think of the eye gouge? Oscar Jago is in big trouble. Just got a recommendation there for TAS Analytics, and I agree with him. That eye gouge was as clear as day. I don't know how it wasn't spotted. We got a question. Yeah, I reckon if we can win the front row battle, we're home. Yeah, they've lost 2 second. I feel like if we can get on top of Scotland in the scrum, Scotland aren't the strongest scrummagers necessarily, And obviously, I played second row, so like the engine room, the scrum, it always gets underrated. But if the second row ain't pushing, then you're not winning the scrum. I've been a little bit worried about Tyke Furlong, though. I have to say, he's big man. He's a really good scrummager, but all the injuries they're taking their toll. Tom O'Toole, to be fair to him, did well last week, so that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. So I'm hopeful. Fingers crossed, anyway. But currently, how it stands, Scotland are on 14. They're on 16 points. France are on 16 as well. So if Scotland were to beat us, France would have to beat England with a bonus point win because I think the head-to-head. I don't know if they're doing points difference. They should have caught. Yeah, agree 100%. Don't fuck around wasting minutes. Absolutely. Which they often don't get taken off the clock properly. And even if they are, you lose about 10 seconds. Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. I always found that about football. I found that very weird. It was like, why don't they just stop the clock? Take a pause and play. Why not? Because the way they always have a debate in football about added minutes and is the referee adding too much or too little. The African Cup of Nations, when I was watching that, there were a lot of added minutes. It was going into the 9 and 10 added minutes. So it was like playing extra time. But I don't get it either. I was kind of like, pause it, have a look on the big screen and see, was there an eye gouge, which there clearly was, For the things that get stopped and checked, you're kind of like, that was a clear eye gouge. Anyone could see that. Should have been a card, in my opinion, a direct red. You're off the field because that is scumbag stuff. And I mean, I know, I know South Africa at the team, everybody loves to hate, the Springboks, but you can say they have a right to feel aggrieved because you can clearly see Jagu's fingers coming over and going into the eye. So I was like, why the hell are they not calling that? And Lenny Nucci ended up getting sent off and getting a yellow card for collapsing the ball. I was thinking, was he the one who gouged, not Jagu? But no, it was Oscar Jagu, so he got off completely scot-free. Rugby Jackal, you love your puns, so I'm hoping that you'll pick up the humour in that one. But no, I have to say that this is a very exciting Six Nations because there's currently Italy can't win it, not realistically, because they're on, what is it? They got a losing bonus point against us. They got 4 points against Scotland. 4 points, yeah, no, they've no chance of winning it. But I think Wales might get their first win. I've got a feeling Wales are coming good now and they finally got a game plan. Reese Carey, the loose head prop slash winger. He's got 3 tries in 3 games. There's the Irish and we 3 tries in 3 games. But no, it makes it for a great final day of the Six Nations, and it's really going to be good to watch. Um, we shall see. Hopeful that Ireland will win, or at least we get the triple crown. That'd be something. Definitely be happy with that. Because we started so poorly, but yeah, Scotland are in with a shout of winning it. I don't think they've ever finished above third place. Third, would I be right in saying that? Um, so we'll have to see. Just see if anybody else popped anything in. All right. Yeah, and you're reaching around. Absolutely, that's a pretty good analogy. I don't know what's going on. I'm just clawing at the back of the. If anyone could see the chat there, Jagu looked like when you're trying to plug in the back of the TV without looking, which I regularly have to do because we've got a little skybox, and then we've got the Virgin Media one. Yeah, reach around probably was a poor choice of words, wasn't it? I need to think before I speak. Well, reach around the back of the TV. Kind of what you do, isn't it? Yeah, it was my words. I'm gonna hold them, of course. Yeah, no, it's gonna be good to watch. I love the Six Nations. I think it's one of the best tournaments in the world. I have to say as well, I really like the team of Jackie Hurley, Simon Zebo. I met Simon Zebo in Benidorm. He's a class guy. I think we have too much. Dan, do you? Yeah, I'd say so. Too much for Scotland, do you mean? I think we'll beat them. Yeah, 100%. Definitely. I think we'll beat them. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And as well, like, the most predictable thing about Scotland is that they're unpredictable. So, like, I reckon what'll happen is we'll go out and play them, and they always give it that. I hear Darcy Graham giving it big now, and Ben White jeering in Antoine Dupont's face. He had a shocker, and that's very rare. You say that Dupont had a shocker, but yeah, if we can keep Finn Russell quiet, exactly. Like Finn Russell goes from great to bad in seconds. If you put him off his game, he will always throw that 50-50 pass when it's clearly not on, and it's an 80-20 pass or 20-80, whichever way it works. He'll always throw the stupid pass. And if we can get him on the back foot, that'll be ideal. He's a very good player, not saying he's not. People always say, oh, are you blind? He's obviously a great player. He is, but he's also inconsistent, as are Scotland. Yeah, absolutely. I've never seen Dupont have a bad game, or at least not that bad. It might be a bit quiet, but that pass where he threw it forward behind his own goal line, what was he thinking? Rugby Jack, actually love to get your thought on this. Got a claw on the back of my throat there. But what do you think of the team of Jackie Hurley? Then we have Simon Zebo, Jamie Heaslip, and then Stephen Ferris. I really like that group. Stephen Ferris held his nerve well for when the fireworks went off. Me and my brother were just sitting there, and Stephen Ferris was just, yeah, it was mad, wasn't it? I thought, wow, luckily for him, he's from the north of Ireland, so he's used to that sort of thing. That's my instant thought, I know. I was like, he's used to explosives. Oh, not a fan of Zebo. Interesting. Yeah, I met him in Benidorm, and that was the weirdest thing because I saw this black lad going around, and then I heard the thick Cork accent, and I was like, is that Simon Zebo in Benidorm? We started chatting to him. I have to say he was sound. Even after we took the picture with him, he was so sound. He was chatting away, and I was talking about how much I love Tyg Byrne representing my surname, even if it is a different spelling. But no, I do agree. Sometimes he can be a bit pro Munster, but what's wrong with that? He can be funny. Jamie Heaslip has grown on me as well. I used to think, will I start a podcast? And then there's like 90% of people were like, no, shut that idea down. But I actually think Jamie Heaslip's all right, especially with that group. You know, it's very good. And I'm a big fan of Stephen Ferris. Yeah, really like Stephen Ferris. Really strong, tough player, but also clean player. Like he wasn't a dirty player. Physical as anything, but very clean. A bit. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I can see how he rubs people up the wrong way. Um, Heaslip is actually okay. Birch, yeah, Bernard Jackman. Met him as well. Gorey, we were playing against Bective Rangers. Bective are now coached by him, and lovely fella, Bernard Jackman. He'll always start going on about how he knows somebody. I know he calls Charles Olivion. He's always his pronunciation of the names are gas because he always says, "Oh, I know him well." And his dad is back in France, and or I'll talk about a player who came over from Georgia. Becca Gigashvili, the big tight head prop from Georgia. Yeah. Yeah, no, he's a good lad. Very friendly. I was chatting away to him saying, I like the point you made here, Bernard. I didn't know if I'd call him Birch because I felt like I didn't know him. I felt like I knew him well enough after meeting him just that one time. But no, he's a fella that I'd have a lot of time for. He stayed around, was chatting away with us. It's just mad to see him on the sideline. When we played Bective, they're always the underachieving team because they've so much potential. And like they topped our group easily when we were playing them, and they'd sum out the players. They had a really sound Chilean fella who played hooker and looked like Scott Brits. Brits, the hooker for Saracens, the really speedy fella. Yeah, he is. My dad actually worked with his cousin Rory, and Rory was talking about Tullow Rugby Club, and if you ever played against Tullow, big men, big Carlow men, they're very strong. Um, Carlow's a good rugby county. Carlow and Kildare are two of the best rugby counties I've ever played against. Sore bodies after playing them. Yeah, he did. The turf. Always despised them. Was never the biggest fan of the Northside rugby clubs. Yeah, funny story actually, Rugby Jackal. A few of the lads that I played rugby league with were they were all from Railway, so they played for Railway Union, and the women, yeah, very good club. But the women for Railway Union are X-Men, so that's like most of the Irish team play for Railway, and Tullow women's team were playing against Railway women's, and a few of the lads had been out on the pitch the night before, and they were going out watching the game, and very good. But to get back to the story, just before I forget it, so the lads from that I played rugby league with, the Dublin City Exiles, they're watching Tullow women's versus the Railway women's, and it's just such a good story. Like one of the lads was badly hungover, and he saw one of the girls for Tullow, and he said, "Jesus, I'd hate to wake up on the wrong side of the bed next to her." And he started laughing, and then one of the fellas beside him was there like, "All right, calm it down a bit." And he was like, "Oh my god, she's fucking hideous or whatever." And then your man goes, "She's Sean O'Brien's sister." And then he was like, "I don't give a fuck who she is." And he was like, "I bet you'll give a fuck when you see who's over the other side of the pitch." And Sean O'Brien was eyeballing him. The Tullow tank was staring right at him, and then he started making his way over to the sideline. And then he was like, "Oh fuck!" Imagine Sean O'Brien being angry at you. I'd say she was the prettiest woman I ever saw. Yeah, imagine that. Like, I mean, if he doesn't piss on you first, he's done that like twice now. Exactly, beam me up, Scotty. A Star Trek reference. I'm sure it's Star Trek, isn't it? Wasn't watched a bit of Star Trek, but yeah, that was yeah. Apparently, one of the games when we were playing against Tullow, and this is way after Sean O'Brien's prime. Yeah, no bother. We'll start talking rugby in a second. You let the dog out first, and then we'll start talking. Gonna see if anybody else is messaging me in the meantime to get in. Greg Belt might be. So we shall have a look. 9 views so far. All right. Yeah. Very good. Anyone has anything else to pop in, fire away. Got about 9 views so far, so don't know if people are just popping in. Even if you need to just pop in, say hello, give us a wave, and then off you go. No hassle at all. Greg, did you manage to get in at the end? I know a few people had trouble last week, and it is a bit tricky doing a live. I understand. Hopefully, you'll see that I'm live now, and you'll join in. Let's see now. Might take a little break just to get my throat cleared up. I go until 10 o'clock anyway if people are happy for that. I'm sure we'll have more people. So let me just give it a look. Yeah, I got about four likes as well. So people obviously popped in, and we will see. Okay, very good. All right, we got more people. Got anybody else? Be good to get a few more people in. Let's see. Shazia, we had you last week. Hopefully you came back. See if I missed anyone. I don't think I have. All good, yeah. Nice. This one's been a lot more interactive anyway. So I'm happy that I decided to do another one. It's really something I've been wanting to do for a while. Just check in as well. If anyone's having any difficulty with addiction or anything, let me know as well, because it's always good to talk about it. I know there's some chance to do that already, but if I can help, ask me anything. We'll figure something out. Any autistic related questions too. I'm actually looking at doing an interview with Quinn from Autismatic. So if you watch his channel, Survey Its Kingdom. Very good. You should see Alfie. Alfie comes in and out about 20 times, and he has his teddies with him. We got him, like I got him the Paul Costello one. Only the best for my Alfie. How old is your black lab, Whoopi Jackal? Let us know. Might have told me before, but it's gone out. Yeah, if anyone is interested in watching, I'm looking at doing an interview with. Yeah, no, I agree with you. And that's something I actually would like to talk about that for a second. So, Ruby Jackal, you joined us a bit. Very good. Hey, good age. We'd say happy birthday. What's the name? And we'll say a happy birthday now. Get it in early. Because I have a few thoughts on the autistic thing. So I'll save them for a second and then I'll get into that afterwards. Bonnie. Happy birthday, Bonnie. And I'll make sure to give her a mention again tomorrow because I'm hoping to do another video. Sunday I'll be free as well to do another one, but I will be glued to my telly watching the Six Nations on Saturday. Very happy birthday to Bonnie. She's exactly double the age of Alfie. It's a good age. No problem. Happy to give her a mention. Very good. I love to hear that. That's really nice to hear. I love dogs. I've met so many in my new job. I met Lou yesterday. It's like a Shetland sheepdog. So they're kind of smaller and more speedy types of sheepdogs. They're kind of like Wicklow Collies, but smaller and furrier. They're very fluffy as well. You just want to rub their head. And Lou wanted to play with his tennis ball, disturbing me from my work. But no, I was happy to be disturbed because that sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? But not Ted Bundy disturbed. Yeah, yeah, exactly. When you're watching Crufts, when it's zooming in and out, they're so fast, really quick and light on their feet. Very fortunate because I do meet so many lovely dogs on the cliff walk, and I'm stopping and I'm petting them, and I have the good fortune that I can stop and just take in the scenery. You know, we get no work done almost. Yeah, they do. They're really fast and light on their feet. And then the mastiffs as well. They're lovely dogs. I was looking at getting a cane corso. Thing is, though, you have to be careful. I was looking at different dogs, like, yeah, not as fast as Giles. I see what you did there. Very good. Not as fast as you. Yeah, it depends on what you're looking for, really. I always loved cheap dogs because my uncle had a mix of, yeah, cane corsos are buttes. My uncle had a mix of a collie and a German shepherd. She was called Gizmo. So she had the brain of both and they're very intelligent dogs. Yeah, a lot of serious training required with Gizmo, but also with cane corsos. Um, with a working dog, yeah, that's the thing as well. So like you've got different categories. So you've got the cane corso, which is like a guardian dog, and as the name suggests, it's in their DNA. Mastiffs are very territorial and domineering. They're also heavy boned. Yeah, German shepherds and Alsatians are lovely as well. Absolutely, really nice. They're beauts. Very intelligent dogs and also can be quite needy. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. Yeah, I think the difference with a German Shepherd and an Alsatian is an Alsatian is kind of lighter physically, and also kind of the lighter fur. So you know that light brown that you get in the German Shepherd. There's more of that in an Alsatian. You know, like Belgian Malinois, Belgian Malinois are literally like the energy and the fitness of a sheepdog, but with the kind of build and bulk of a German Shepherd. But Belgian Malinois, that's some serious training that I don't think anyone will be able to give. Um, Alsatians are from Alsace-Lorraine. I think that's the difference. You know, they're from a different region, and they're a bit lighter and more nimble than a German Shepherd. German Shepherds are kind of bulkier. You know, both very intelligent dogs. And then one is obviously German. The other is from France, Alsace-Lorraine in France. But yeah, very similar breed. I remember before Belmont. Mm, yeah. Did you see that Joe Rogan's video? There's a funny video on it where the German Shepherd and the Belgian Malinois are they have to get contraband, and the German Shepherd goes in and out of the chairs really methodically. I met a really lovely German Shepherd called Loki when I was working, and yeah, he was coming over and he was getting really bad separation anxiety, even though he just met me because they're very loving people that German Shepherds love. They adore. And I was talking to this lady about the German Shepherd looking and then being very methodical, going around the chairs, getting to the contraband. The Belgian Malinois just leapt over the chairs. He just said, "Fuck this, I'm going for it." And he got it as well. Like, yeah, exactly. 15 feet, yeah. Do you ever see the jump when they get the tennis ball on the like a tether ball? So the ball on the string. That's I think yeah, like 15 feet or 20 feet, and the dog gets it. You ever see that Beetlejuice, you know, the Howard Stern show, which should have been banned, but I'm so glad it wasn't. When they get Beetlejuice and they say, "How deep is a 6 feet hole?" About 20 feet. Spell red. Red. LSTER. Oh, how we got away with that show was beyond me. Um, yeah, check it out. The Howard Stern show. He has done everything imaginable to get banned. And still, I think he's still going. He's a crazy bastard. But yeah, like just while we're on the subject of dogs, um, cane corsos are very densely boned, so they're very strong. They're not the nimble types like a German Shepherd, a Belgian Malinois, or a Collie. Yeah, yeah, that's the one. So there was the Howard Stern show, and then he started doing it on satellite radio, and he's still going. I think before it was on TV in America. Anyway, I don't think you get it over here. You get it on cable over in America, whereas now I think it's satellite radio. I think he used to be on the TV, but because he got banned, yeah, yeah, he got banned off a lot of different platforms. But he was huge. Like he won the best show in the US several times, um, because he was just so outrageous. But he has a real character about him, you know. He's so funny. Yeah, yeah, you can still get him on YouTube. A lot of his stuff is older clips. I'd still see like if there's anything newer that he does. A lot of his videos have been banned now because like, he literally had a Black Panthers leader and leader Daniel Carver, the leader of the Ku Klux Klan, both of them on his show, and he's getting them to rank the worst ethnicities. Like he's getting them literally to start. Like I'm not going to say it, but if you check the video out, he's ranking the worst ethnicities in America, and he's getting Daniel Carver, the Klansman, the Grand Dragon, or whatever they call it, to go over. He's definitely not stupid, not at all. Like I mean, to come up with that genius business plan, you've got to be clever. Um, yeah, he does listen. You know, he's got an interest. Like he's also got, even though he's so outrageous, he's got a likable personality. So you're kind of like, all right, fair enough. He is likable, but then you have to kind of look at him and go, his morals are very questionable, to say the least. That's putting it very nicely for him. Um, yeah, no, he definitely takes the time to listen, all right. And did you ever remember before, Saved by the Bell? Um, Remember Tiffany Tyson? She's very good looking, like, and she's on the show, and everybody was kind of like, "Why is she here?" 'Cause she's quite polite and well spoken. And Howard Stern just said, "I beat off to you so many times," and I'm like, "Fuck." Just tells her like I used to beat off to you all the time, and I'm there kind of going, "How can you say that and get away with it?" She started laughing. She's obviously very uncomfortable. Yeah, she's obviously extremely uncomfortable, and you're there going, "My God, did he actually say it?" And in one way, you're going, "Oh, you disgusting pervert," but you're also like, "Yeah, yeah." She don't know if maybe she was. I think I know who you're talking about actually. The girl looked like her. Was Tiffany Tyson on Baywatch? One moment, please. Yeah, there was one that looked like her. I'll get the name for you now. Let's have a look now. I think I know the name. Uh, Yasmin Bleat, by any chance? I can see where you're coming from. Yeah, I think she played Yasmin Bleat. I think that's who you're thinking of. Is it? Look that name up anyway and see if I'm right. Um, there definitely is a resemblance, all right, though. I don't know if Tiffany Tyson was on Baywatch, but she was a very good looking woman anyway, and I certainly wouldn't have said what Howard Stern said to her. Um, when you think that political correctness has gone mad now, you have to kind of go, okay, but things like that are reasons why it had to change. Did you ever see that interview? I think it was 1994 in Ireland. Heaney Antonio. Hmm. What's happening with Weenie? All right, didn't know that. Played Valerie, did she? Huh? Why don't you come on over, Valerie? I didn't know she was in that. Is she on Baywatch? Oh yeah, I think she was. Yeah, left in the early episodes of the ninth season of the show. Apparently, who knew? You knew. That's who knew. Yeah. All right. She did look like her one though, didn't she, Yasmin Bleat? Apparently she's looking horrendous now, but she had a hard life. God love her. I want to get onto a question you weren't given a question necessarily, but I thought you made a good point there, and I want to get back to rugby jackal. Um, we're talking about dogs, and I love dogs. I could go on talking about them all day, but it's this one here where you ask, or you say, autistic people hard done by the leaving cert system. And for anyone who doesn't know, who's watching, leaving certificate is the Irish version of the SATs, SATs. I can't believe Americans don't call them SATs, SATs, and then your A levels, your O levels in the UK. It's the big exam when you're 18 that you do, or you might be 17. It all depends really, but usually you're 18 doing it, and you're leaving school after it. And decides if you get into university or not. You know, there's some jobs where you might need it. If you want to get a trade or you want to join the army, you still need to have your leaving certificate. But as you say here, not all should be looked at the same. And I agree with that. Um, and I feel like the education system, and I mean a lot of things. I was talking about it before you joined Rugby Jackal. How I put on a mask. You don't know who's behind it, but people were talking about me behind my back, and then I say it to my family, and they're kind of like, "Oh, well, did you do something?" Or they were kind of like, "Right, they were on to talk about you behind your back," but you come across as very. My brother said that I can be very intense, which I get, yeah, but that's part of my personality as well. People always remember me, whether it's good or bad, and I feel like you can change only so much about yourself, and people will like you this or you did that. And they're kind of like, well, at least I'm doing stuff, and I'm living my life, and I'm not sitting back and watching other people. I kind of hate that shit. I kind of believe that life is to be lived, and nowadays where everybody's on this thing, and I'm on too much as well. I grew up in the generation that went from the non-technology era bang into it, so millennials would have kind of gotten a taste for life without technology. Whereas being a Gen Z for my sins and being a Zoomer, as they call it, I would be more of the generation where you've got constant. Yeah, yeah, same here. I try not to, and I'm lucky to have a job where I'm outdoors. But it's kind of like I remember the days where I used to knock over to your friend, knock over like that, and you call over, you go and you play football, and you do that for hours, and your parents will call you back, and I think that's something I'm grateful for, and you only kind of get grateful for it when you get older and you realise there's a lot of kids that aren't going to ever have that. And then speaking to Robbie, who I was doing the interview with before, Robbie was saying how kids that he works with in like troubled kids, they'd be like 18 or 19, and they wouldn't be able to call up a takeaway and go, "Hi, I'd like to order because it's just scrolling now." And you kind of realize that they're probably just typing in what they want, and then it's delivered to their doorstep. They pay online, and they never have to actually interact with people. And being autistic and struggling with those skills, I'm grateful that my parents, mostly my mom, I have to say, she kind of pushed me. My dad pushed me, but not in the same nice sort of way. You know what I mean? Like you can push someone and you can push them too fucking far, and then they don't want to do anything. And I got to that stage too. I'm looking for jobs now with my university degree, and please God, I'll get something. Absolutely, yeah, 100%. And it was uncomfortable, and I do get it from other people's point of view. Like I remember our local chipper, uni degree, DNA and forensic analysis, rugby jackal. So a lot of people think CSI, crime scene investigation, you'd also be qualified to work in the pharmaceutical industry. And I've been keeping my options open. It was a level 8 as well. So quite a good degree. Yeah, no worries. Sure, I forget stuff as well. People always need a reminder. Sometimes there's so much to discuss. Not to worry at all. But yeah, it's kind of broad, you know. It's very specific in one way, and then another, we were doing a lot of organic chemistry because they wanted us to pursue that area. The pharmaceutical industry being so massive in Ireland, they were like, you'd walk into a job, which is true, like you would normally. But that's also another thing, you know, like I was there thinking, am I being lazy? Am I not applying to enough places? And then I was kind of there thinking, I am sending out the CVs. You know, while I was doing my fourth and final year of university, how I got there, you know, I've got really bad imposter syndrome. But then I was like, okay, people keep telling me now I need to plan for when I leave. I got my level 7. So then I got my level 7, and I was there thinking, well, I just take this and go. But then I was like, look, I'm in my fourth year now. You do, by the way, you do 3 years for a level 7 degree. You do 4 for a level 8. Um, so I could have taken the level 7 and been like, that's it. I've had enough stress. I'm fucking out of here. And I felt like that a few times, but I was like, no, not going to do that. I'm going to push on, do the extra year. And I'm so glad I did. But it was tough, you know, and it really broke me in a lot of ways because there was a lot of knuckling down and studying, and my mind would wander. You've probably seen it. I can go off topic, and I have to bring myself back. And like I am smart. There's a brain up here. It's probably been damaged from rugby and boxing, you know, and different contact sports that I played, heading the football as well. I'm a big head the ball, as my granddad would say. I was a centre back as well, so there's a lot of headers that you're getting, and my brain's probably been damaged. I should probably donate it to science so that they can see if there's any chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Yeah, absolutely. Um, it's nasty. But you know, like when you're talking about the education system, I just kind of got a light bulb moment, and I kind of feel like while there is supports in place, which is great, it's very good. A lot of it is lip service. Basically, it's there to say that they've got something in place, but they don't hold out much hope for you, and I've found that as I've dealt with them. So, like, when I was told that I need to be planning ahead, 25, yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Um, you got to watch that, don't you? Just to be safe. I know what you mean. We got to mind their noggins, make sure that they're okay. Because as well, I never knew like with a neurodivergent brain was it different. Yeah, no bother. Happy to chat away. Any questions you have, leave them in. I'll get back to them. No worries at all. But when I was studying and I was there thinking, right, what do I need to do now? And I went to all these different seminars and help groups because they did put them on. In fairness, and I was there thinking, well, if you don't go and they're offering you the help, you can't complain that you haven't been given the help. So I was like, look, fair enough, no more excuses. If there's a study session now to help you study, like they were giving us paper and they were saying like she was this, but they're like, okay, make a list, then look away, see if you can remember it, get your friend to quiz you and all this different stuff, different methods, and I thought, okay, this is useful. When you write something down, then you don't look at it, then you get someone to quiz you on it, and then you see if you can remember it and get it to stick in there. I had to really just give it a break from rugby as well. Like I was always active and I was always playing sport, and then when you don't do that, you kind of go, "Oh shit, fitness will leave me if I don't keep it up." Yeah, exactly. My course was very intense, so there was a lot of study needed. There weren't an awful lot of people who were very sporty, so we had a sports science group that we did a couple of different modules with. Lads with the big hose pipe veins in their arms. They're obviously more sport minded than science minded, but they had to do certain science modules for their course, so they did them. Statistics as well as something that they had to do. Quite an arrogant bunch, the sports science group. Just saying. but our group were more nerdy, and I can be nerdy as well, but we were very much the ones who would be betting to the books. There were a lot of very sciencey people. I kind of felt out of place because I was coming into lectures with black eyes and bloody noses and all, and I wasn't doing the study I needed. I was flying off to different training sessions and trying to go to the gym, um, and barely studying. Yeah, a lot of anger about them, all right. A lot of arrogance as well. Yeah, yeah. Those who can't do teach, as they say. There was one lad for the Olympic weightlifting when I was doing that in Technological University Dublin, and we needed to use a callback for the yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, there were a lot of them that were very Billy Big Bollocks. So there was one lad who ran the gym. So it was like it was a sports science gym or the sports science lab they called it. It was basically just a fancy looking gym, and he wouldn't let us use it. And then when he finally agreed to, he basically because he knew he had the power, so I've got the power over you. And we had to kind of kowtow to him. And then he was like, "All right, you can use it, but we weren't allowed to use chalk." Or there were lots of different rules. He was just being a dickhead, basically flexing his muscles and saying, "You need me to get in here, and so I'm going to hold this over you," that kind of way. One of those dickheads loves the power, the little bit of power that he has. But it was tough for me in there, so kind of getting back to the topic. But yeah, like the sports science group, as you say, some of them were failed athletes. A lot of them were. Um, a lot of them played rugby, and a few of them were there saying, "Oh, do you do sports science?" They just presumed I did because I was training. I was more into the training than I was my course. And then one of the lads said, "Oh, look, we can get you a scholarship," and I thought, "Oh, great." And then they were like, "Here's what we need you to do," and they said, "We need you to show up to games and training." And I said to them, "All right, but I've got labs that I need to go to on the Monday and the Tuesday. So if we can do training on a Wednesday, or if we can do it on a Friday, because some of the games we played on the Wednesday." So they tried working around that. Then they said they'd give me absence forms. The lecturers didn't accept the absence forms because they're like, "You have to actually be here to do the work, otherwise we're not passing you." So it was overwhelming, and getting kind of back to the subject of autism and how that relates to it. I felt like I struggled my way through school. I found it very tough in school. No two ways about it. And people have these stereotypes that autistic people are exceptionally smart and have a photographic memory, but they always have an image of some Rain Man fella. I'll do the glasses just to kind of get it for a second. But they're going around 49, 49, 49, and then someone's talking to them, and they're kind of like 49, 49, toothpick, 49. My dad did an impression of Dustin Hoffman as Rain Man before, and I couldn't stop laughing. This is 49, 2 49, 49, 97X, bad, the future of rock and roll. Like, I fucking hate that stereotype because I'm like, everyone assumes that you're a really, yeah, yeah, the way it's taught does not work for a lot of people. It's not just the minority, a lot of people don't like it, and it hasn't changed in years. It sure is. But I was different. I liked playing sport and I was good at rugby. And we were a non-fee paying school, but we played rugby and that was the main sport. So I was kind of like, "Oh, I must check that out." Yeah, I must check out some of the Hoffman stuff. What school? De La Salle, Churchtown. So they were kind of harping on about the rugby tradition because they're the first ever non-fee paying school to win the senior cup twice. I think they're the first ever school to win it, but then they won it twice, and that was some year. And then I met lads from that. Yeah, yeah. What about you, rugby jackal? What school? Be interested now to see. Ah, very good. So senior cup, you would have, yeah, Blackrock or one hell of a team. I actually read some. It was my brother actually that showed me Blackrock are one of the best schools for rugby in the world. That's even competing with the South African and New Zealand sides. I mean, South African schoolboys are they're on a little something. All right, the Belvoir Michaels. I mean, some serious competition there. I have a cousin that went to Mary's, played tight end prop there. He's gotten a lot of injuries from it. Big young fella like me and my brother, but yeah, no, it's good. I mean, it's good to have something that you can talk about afterwards. What position, actually? I never asked you the position, and I've been meaning to ask you for years what position you play. Years. I haven't even known you years. I've been meaning to ask you for a while what position you played, rugby jacket. Let us know there. Be good to hear from you. Are you a back or a forward? Can't wait to find out. Yeah, like we would have only played Blackrock's second. We played their second team before and we beat them, and that was a big shock. They didn't like that. But there's so many teams as well. There's a lot of different teams, and it has produced so many good Ireland internationals over the years. So even now, like you've got Gus McCarthy, Paddy McCarthy, Joe McCarthy, all the McCarthys. Caelan Doris. He got a scholarship there, actually, I believe, because he's from Ballina and Mayo. Um, Gary Ringrose, of course, the brains of the operation. Tommy O'Brien. The list goes on. There's so many Blackrock lads that made it for Ireland. Very good. Yeah, yeah. No, there's loads of teams as well. I heard something before from the senior cup coach for Michaels that they've like 900 rugby players, which is mental. Like you're wondering how you're ever going to compete with that. That's why I really wanted to make that. I was going to say documentary, but that video about steroids and rugby because it's all speculation, and yeah, he is frighteningly good. His brain, like his rugby knowledge, is just so good. He knows when to pick out the pass and go for the rib shot. He's really good at that, and he's deceptively strong. So he's obviously not as strong as Beef Stew, but he reads the game so well. And defensively, he always knows when to shoot up in the player's face and shut them down. Well, once they get the ball, his reading of the game. It's like a fly half almost, and I think he played fly half before. Yeah, Beef Stew, the Belfast Bulldozer. Yeah, it's a good sport, and just like I do talk negatively sometimes about rugby because I'm kind of like there were a lot of false promises given to me. If you play for us, we'll give you this, and like the scholarship thing in college, I was kind of like, all right, I need to knuckle down and study. And then the rugby team were like, oh, we need you to play because you're pretty good. So would you like to play? And I was like, look, I have to study. Like I'm really not putting in the work. And for me, I get overwhelmed more easily. And there's no two ways about it. I get overwhelmed and I'm better focusing on one thing. Yeah. Ulster says who opposition. I've actually played so many different positions. So I played 2 games of tight head prop, and I would never do that again. Maybe in the future, simply because I can't move. I played once on the wing, twice at centre, twice at 13, and a few times at 12. My main position was second row. I played second row more than any other position. Um, Open side flanker, blind side flanker. I only got to play a few games at number 8. I love number 8. That's by far my favourite. But I've played a lot of different positions. I was one of those guys who just play anywhere I was told to play. And yeah, absolutely. A new meaning of utility player. Playing 12 though, like getting to play at first centre, crash ball. That's what I was doing all the time. People would be coming up with these different moves, and I was like, I'm a big tick forward. I can't be thinking that far ahead. I was like, I'm just going to run the ball straight, and then I'm going to get over the game line. I'm going to run down the tens channel, and then I'm going to offload the ball. When you've got to go to offload, it's all right. Hello, Elena. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much for the wave. Appreciate it. Yes, I've got Wales rugby jackal. I absolutely do. People didn't think it before, like when I was in the gym as well, and I got a bit bulkier and heavier. People were like, "Oh, you probably can't run," but no, I could run. Even when I was a fat fuck, and I still am. But I was at one point I was 127 kilos. I do not want to go back to that again. The difference is when you make the big long run and everybody's patting you on the back, you're there like, don't knock the wind out of me because I'm trying to get it all back into me. I got one try before where I ran from R22 and I stepped the fullback. So I was kind of there thinking, the fullback, what's he going to think? You know, when you're making that split second decision. And the fullback was bracing because he thought this big fella's going to try and run through me. So I was like, I bet he thinks I'm going to try and run through. And then I stepped him and he was like, oh. He high fived me afterwards and said, that's some fucking step, mate. Yeah, it's nice to meet you, Elena. Elena Bella. Is it Elena or Elena? Please let me know. Don't want to be mispronouncing your name. Elena Bella. Very good. Or Elena, maybe. Who knows? I like to ask people anyway, just so that I pronounce it right. Thanks for giving us the wave. Yeah, any questions, please let me know. But Rugby Jackal. Very good. Ah, excellent. What similarities would they be? Yeah. I wonder. Rugby Jackal. Just trying to see now. I don't know. We'll see what the response is, and then we'll know. But yeah, 1 second there, sorry. Yeah, rugby was life at one point. Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, Rugby Jackal, do you feel bad now? Yeah, no, 100%. The antidepressants are something that really made me balloon up, and also just ruined my lust for life, basically. And mirtazapine, yeah, I feel you. That's the one that I'm on now, and I'm chopping it in half, and I'm trying to gradually go down. And I feel like if anything positive can come from it, it's I have to just fix my beard there. It's getting a bit scruffy looking. I thought if anything positive would come from it, it was that I could share my story. Yeah, I bet you're feeling pretty bad now, aren't you? Rugby Jackal. Sorry, Elena. Don't mind him. He's a good guy, I promise. Um, it's all meant in good terms here. We all like to have a laugh, so please nobody take anything personally. But yeah, no, I'm getting on to mirtazapine, and mirtazapine has been good in some ways, but now I'm kind of like I wanted to get sober and I wanted to get off medication because I was losing weight and I was doing quite well, and then this slowed down my progress completely, and also just made me a bit like a vegetable, And I found that with all the SSRIs that I've taken. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's more difficult for women as well because women tend to mask better than men, unfortunately, and that means that as a result, they don't get the help they need. It's the same. It's kind of like the reverse with BPD, so borderline personality disorder. Women are seen as being more emotional. So if a man has it, he's either told shut the fuck up and deal with it, or if he's angry, he will then be told that's toxic. Do you know what I mean? So you're kind of like we have our different biases, unfortunately, for different things, and it's sad. And a lot of people don't get the help that they need. And I've heard a link before between BPD and autism. if you want to check that out, Elena, where the link is that as a young autistic person who's not diagnosed, people feel like they're unloved, they're unheard, and then what happens is they end up basically feeling like they're the problem, and there's that deep self hatred that they start developing. I know it's getting pretty fucking dark, but I mean, I'm here to discuss it in a more light-hearted way. These tough conversations need to be had. And I feel like the first port of call is always medication. It's like what you need. Get me a pen out, write you a script. There you go. Now, if you've any issues with that, come back and we'll up the dose, lower the dose, or we'll stop the medication altogether. And that could be an issue too. Doctors can just stop a medication, then give you another one, and that can cause a whole host of side effects because you're still withdrawing from one medication and now you're having another. So you need to be careful with it. And unfortunately, it falls on the patient a lot of times. And I'm kind of there thinking, should it not be on the doctor? But unfortunately, it's up to us to keep an eye on it. And that's why I'm kind of hoping that I can spread more awareness about it, as I taper off. This is probably the best spell I've ever given any medication where I'm consistently not drinking. So I'm 8 months sober now, I'm nearly 9, and I've been taking the medication as prescribed, exercising, and when I say to the doctor how much exercise I'm doing, they kind of have an assumption that you're not trying. Like even when it's what it says in my file, because I've been given an actual sheet of paper to bring to a psychiatrist, and it says refuses medication, citing side effects, and I'm kind of like, I'm not pretending, like I'm not making them up. I didn't have this before I took the medication, and then when I took the medication, this is what I feel like. I feel like shit. I feel like a zombie. I feel very lethargic. Like even playing five-a-side football. Me and Rugby Jackal were talking about it there. It's a good laugh. Some fellas do take it too seriously, but I was running around after starting propranolol, which is a beta blocker. I was on 80 milligrams of that because I was feeling like shit, and that's the thing. It all depends on when you go into the doctor. If you go in feeling good, you might say, "No, I don't need that medication." But if you're feeling bad, you're like, "Give me whatever the fuck you want. If this is going to make me feel better, I will take it." And that's what I did with propranolol, and gave me an intense pain down the side of my head, really bad pain in my eyes. Like I was always squinting, and my eyes were like that. I had to stop sea swimming for a little while, and that's my wellness tool. I love doing that. So when I couldn't do that, because I start getting, it was like my heart stopped beating, and that's what it's designed to do: slow your heart down, not stop it completely. But I was like, I need my heart to start beating here. Why the fuck is it not? This is freaking me out. Start getting sick as well. Start like feeling really nauseous. Getting a lot of stomach pain. So I was like, not getting rid of that. And eventually, I'm going to cut out the mirtazapine. This stuff's not good for me. My appetite has gone up a lot, and I'm someone that struggles with my weight to begin with. So having something there that will it increases blood glucose. I believe I know that. Is what I'm just thinking, antipsychotics increase blood glucose, and my brother was given one. Just trying to think which one he was on. It'll come back to me though. Yeah, anyway, I'll just keep talking, but it increases blood glucose level, and then when it does that, you end up craving more food, more blood sugar, and you feel hungrier all the time. What was that now? That's kind of annoying me. Yeah, yeah, I feel like I am a bit lighter, all right. I'm running around a lot more, so yeah, I think like my family have said that I look lighter and I look leaner, um, which is good, and the job that I do is manual as well, so I'm moving around quite a bit. I also start doing fasting in the morning, so I don't eat anything before going into work, and just drink water. I find that kind of makes me feel more hungry when I get home, and then I have a meal when I get home. You just have to be careful that you're not gorging yourself. I've also tried cutting fizzy drinks out because that can be a real problem as well. Olanzapine, olanzapine, that's the name of it. My brother was on that, and just while I remember, he gained about 10 kilos, 10 to 15. Very bad for blood glucose levels and also for cravings. And as you say, we're people who gain weight just by thinking of food. But yeah, like you say there, Elena, I'm just gonna call you Elena Bella. I like your name, so I'm gonna call you by that. Yeah, I lost a bit of weight, so that's good, and that's by exercising, by playing five-a-side football. So for about 1 hour, I'm running around and breaking into a sweat. I cycle about 4 times a week, I would say. I was doing it every day, but it's just too much. And sometimes, you need to go, I need a break today. I also find that if you're tired, allow yourself to have a lie on, allow yourself that rest time because some days I'm just exhausted. Some days I just feel like, right, I'm actually going to sleep. Like today, I was knackered after work yesterday, so I was like, it's windy outside, the weather is absolutely shit. So that's the only excuse I need to have a lie on. So that's what I did. You can be hard on yourself, and believe me, I've been hard on myself before and go, get up. If you don't get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're a waste of space, you're a loser. All the competition gets up earlier than you. And then purely because I was too tired to do that anymore, I was like, fuck this, I'm not doing this anymore. This is a waste of time. I'm burning myself out and I can't keep this up. So I stopped doing it. And I think you get to a stage where you kind of know your own body, and then you kind of think, this isn't working for me, and I need to change something up. So, no, I'm glad you shared that with me, Alina Bella. I'm really happy you did share that with me because I think it's important to find a common ground, and just because I'm a man, you're a woman, I'm presuming anyway, with that name, but I have made the mistake before, so no offense intended. But I find that I've been able to, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that is something as well. What happened there was just to give you. I'll try and make it as brief as possible, but I had started working when I was 14 or 15, so I used to work at summers. Like I started working on construction sites, just mixing cement, digging holes, or I'd be working in offices as well. So there were different engineering companies, and I'd be doing office work, so filing. I went from doing manual stuff to doing nothing manual at all, and then I actually started helping a lab technician out in ACOM in City West. She was nice, and she kind of gave me the idea of working as a lab tech when I got older. Then after, but during school, I started working in JD Sports. So I worked there for about a year. Used to be called Champion Sports. And it's very clicky. There were a lot of gym bros, if you like that kind of way, guys like whacking Monster and energy drinks into them and taking steroids as well. And real, how do I even put it? Magaluf, Magaluf heads and Ibiza, with the fake teeth and the hairlines. So I kind of felt like that wasn't for me. Then I worked in a cafe, did that for a year and a half, about just under a year and a half, and gained a lot of weight because you're doing orders back and forth, and people are in your ear yapping to you. Also a staff discount, which a lot of delicious food at a really good discount. So that I got a really bad rugby injury as well in my left shoulder. So I actually had a pinched nerve in that and damaged it. And being mentally overwhelmed, as I'm sure you can relate to, I was using every bit of energy that I could to just push through and push through. And then when my body gave up on me, I was kind of like, fuck this, I need a break. So I took about 3 months or something off the gym, gained about 30 kilos, yeah, in a very short period of time. Just stuffing myself. I was already on the up. Oh, you're from Greece. Very good. Um, very nice to hear. I only know one word of Greek, taxi, and that's it. It's a tough language. But sorry, yeah, just getting back to it. So, getting up to no good if I wasn't working. I studied, but I wasn't very good at studying. So, um, did a few part-time jobs when I was in college. So I worked in the cafe. I worked in a vape shop for a little while. Then, when COVID hit, my mum was sick as well, so I had to leave that, and then start working in the summers. So I worked in a restaurant, cafe. I worked in a restaurant, hotel, so a hotel restaurant, I should say, as a kitchen porter, washing dishes. So I'd get in at about 3 p.m., 2 or 3 p.m., be working till about 2 a.m. in the morning, get home, still be kind of wired, if you know what I mean. And then I just kind of have a crash, go to bed, and I'd wake up about 2 hours before my shift, and then I'd have something to eat. It was very unhealthy, and then I'd be smoking when I was having a break, or when I'd finish up, I'd have a pint or something. I'd be drinking after my shift with the head barman and the night porter, and then worked in a takeaway. And I was on Lexapro at that stage, so I tried a new antidepressant. I've tried Zoloft, sertraline, and so Zoloft is sertraline, and then fluoxetine, aka Prozac, was my first one. All had their lovely side effects. But yeah, I worked for the summer in a chipper, which is like a takeaway. Did you? Yeah. And how'd you find it? I presume it didn't go too well either, because the way you're speaking about it must have burnt you out, because it did definitely burn me out. But yeah, kitchen work is tough, because you're interacting with a lot of people. I actually didn't mind. Oh, sorry, you're talking about the yeah, yeah. Akatage is a nasty one, and I've been hearing people talking about it and sharing their stories, and I feel like it happened to me as well. I didn't know what it was, and then I started researching it, and yeah, they all had some very nasty side effects. So Prozac was the first one I ever took. I was only 15 when I was put on. I think I might have even been 14. That's 14 and 15 is where everything started kind of happening for me. I was put on that, and I didn't know anything about antidepressants really. I was told it'll help you sleep, because I never really slept. I'm a very anxious person by nature, so I don't really sleep too well. And then I was put on that. It destroyed my sex drive. So when you're a teenager, you're very driven. I won't go too much into it, but your libido and your sex drive, yeah, no, exactly. And unfortunately, that's the first part of call. And the thing is, though, you don't sleep. I used to like be mad for energy drinks. I love my coffee. I can't live without coffee. But I actually lost a lot of weight on Prozac, because what was happening was I'd actually feel sick when I was eating the food, and I had I'd say mild bulimia, but bulimia is never. Yeah, coffee in the AM is good. Bulimia is never mild. Like sometimes I'd make myself sick. Other times I wouldn't have to do much. I'd have like a small orange, like a satsuma and a banana, and then I'd have about 6 cups of coffee a day. I'd run like 12 kilometers most days, and I'd be in the gym. I don't know how I had the energy to do it. Well, I do. Energy drinks. Energy drinks were a big one for me, and coffee. I'd combine the two of them. Had some very unhealthy habits. Still do. But yeah, no, it was bad. It was really bad. When I look back on how unhealthy my lifestyle was, but I was very underweight, not in a healthy way. Like, I didn't look good, and my arms aren't really that fat anyway, but they don't really get too developed either when I work out. So I don't have the big biceps or nothing, but it it got to a stage where I was fat skinny, and I didn't really like that look. Then I started eating more calories and I started bulking up and I looked a bit better. Um, but yeah, Zoloft was okay. It wasn't the worst. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, so we're talking here. 2 or 3 coffees pre-gym is good. Yeah, yeah. Lexapro shit are good. Lexapro was okay. Rugby Jackal. Lexapro was a longer half life than other SSRIs, so that means it stays in your system longer. And I didn't find that one okay. That's when I worked in the chipper. So like you're going in at 2 p.m. and then you're not getting home till like 11 p.m. and you're not eating much in that time. So that's 9 hours. And then you get to take home all the dinner box with you. Anyone who doesn't know, dinner box is delicious fried chicken. And I'd be taking that home with me. My boss would say you get to have that, and then you can take that home with you, whatever we don't sell. And then I'd be making myself the bacon taco chips and everything. Yeah, it is quality. And I never got sick of it either. It was so good. It was fucking amazing. And as I say, people would be telling me, oh, I'd get sick of that. And I was like, no, I never get sick of it. So, like, I also, when I was on Lexapro, I got a lot of gastrointestinal problems. So, yeah, you couldn't refuse it, not at all. But yeah, I start getting a lot of gastrointestinal problems, so really upset stomach, and won't go into the gory details about the rest, but you can imagine. So I'd go for long periods where I wouldn't eat anything because I'd feel stuffed. Breakfast has been something over the years that I haven't been great at eating. Yeah, yeah. It's like I'm sorry, just checking something there. Just a message popping in. So yeah, sorry, just checking there. But yeah, no, it's very tough on the gastrointestinal system. Like that's when I really started getting issues with my eating breakfast in the morning and decided to try intermittent fasting because you'd literally go from eating something and feeling stuffed, so you're not able to eat. And then I noticed that I wasn't eating for about 4 or 5 hours and I just gorge, I'd start milling the food into me. Um, and that's not good. And that's how you gain a lot of weight, because you're fucking up your metabolism. That's how so wrestlers gain all the weight that they do. So, like, I looked at that and they drink their beer and they have a lot of rice and stews and things. But yeah, I think lifestyle wasn't great either at the time, so you're kind of thinking to yourself, okay, like maybe it's the pills, maybe it's my lifestyle. When I graduated from university, because I just want to answer Elena Bella's comment there. So she's asking me a question there. I had difficulty working, so just kind of wanted to get back onto that. Um, so Elena Bella, when I got my degree, I was working. I was working kind of part time, so I'd work in the summers and then do my degree. And then I said I need to take time off. So my mum got a thing that's called domiciliary allowance, and she got that up until I was 18. I kept giving it to her, and I was working, so I was getting my money. Then I got a grant for university, so I was getting some top up money, and I got the university fees paid, which was great. It's means tested. So you kind of, sorry, I'm just going to get to, yeah, yeah, it's taken with food, rugby jackal. I take it at night, my medication. So always I would recommend having it with food, not in the morning. Some people recommend that you take it in the morning, but I don't because I just feel like it makes me feel really lethargic and dizzy. So it's all right when you're sleeping, but not so much when you are um, trying to get up and get shit done in the morning. Yeah, they recommend taking it with food. And of all them, I would say Lexapro was the hardest on my gut, 100%. I would say Zoloft, aka sertraline, that was all right, but there was weight gain with that for sure, and not as many gastrointestinal issues. No, I found with all of them they worked until they didn't, and Mirtazapine is more for anxiety. That's the one that I'm on now, and I've cut down. I was on 45 milligrams for 1 week, and then said this is too sedating. Fuck that. No, I'm not doing that anymore. Um, so yeah, that's why I was like, I need to get off these. Then when I was prescribed propranolol as well, I thought they're just going to keep upping the dose and upping the dose. What I need to do is stop drinking alcohol and get down off this stuff. Yeah, Elena Bella, I am still on mirtazapine. I'm on 15 milligrams. Went down from 45 back to 30. So what I did was I said I'm getting a lot of negative side effects on the 45 milligram. So then what I did was I cut that down, and then I went back to 30 milligram. And then what I started doing, because I had a lot of the 30 milligrams left, and I said I want to get off these. I still had some 45 milligram ones left because I stopped them after a week. I broke them in half, so I started taking half of one, which is okay apparently. I don't necessarily recommend it, but that's what I did because I was like, they're just going to keep me on these drugs. So I broke that in half and was having 22.5 milligrams, and then did that for 56 days. I tried tapering off a bit early, so I tried tapering off after 44 days and going down to 15 milligrams. So breaking the 30 milligrams in half to 15. Did that for 2 days and got really bad issues with sleep. Start getting very, very paranoid. Extremely paranoid, almost psychotic. Where you're looking around, thinking what's going on, are people staring at me, and just really bad paranoia. So I said, okay, I've still got some of the 45s left. So what I did was I had six of them left, about six, yeah. So I broke them in half, had them for 12 more days, and then I went down to 15. And I've been on 15 milligram ever since for about 5 weeks. Yeah, about 5 weeks now. Feeling all right. Did get a bit of negative side effects, but certainly it wasn't as bad as the first time I tried tapering off, I will say. I just thought maybe that 2 month period tapering off is better. And then I'm hoping to get down to 7.5 milligrams, do that for about 2 months, and then come off. Yeah, exactly, 100%. You need to slowly taper yourself off and just wean yourself off. Also, doing a lot of research that I have done, and I'm sure you have too, but there's always, if there's anything I can teach you, then I'll share it. So one of the things that I learned was mirtazapine has a very short half life. So the half life basically means it leaves your system faster. And what that does is your body's craving it. So when you stop taking it, it takes less time for the side effects to kick in or the withdrawals. So if you take a drug that has a longer half life, like Lexapro, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I did a video actually. If you want to check it out, where I actually shared a website. There's also the Taper Clinic, Dr. Joseph with During. He's the guy who says board certified psychiatrist. He's an Aussie fellow with glasses. He's Australian, tanned with black hair and glasses, and he talks about his own benzodiazepine addiction. And I thought he's really good. He gets people on talking about their stories and sharing what happened to them. And I thought it was just very positive that he's doing it. And especially the fact that he's a doctor, but he's talking openly about his own experience with withdrawing from Xanax, which benzo withdrawal is meant to be. It's apparently meant to be worse than heroin withdrawal, and alcohol withdrawal is meant to be worse as well. Delirium tremens, if you ever looked that up, you do not want to get them. You start hallucinating and getting muscle spasms, and they can literally kill you. That's from alcohol now. Um, but with mirtazapine, you were talking about akathisia there, and I actually have a really good um, article saved on that. So I just want to talk about, yeah, the DTs exactly. So, for anyone who doesn't know about akathisia, just might say it out there, Helena Bella. So akathisia is a distressing movement disorder characterized by an uncontrollable urge to move, typically caused by side effects of antipsychotic or antidepressant medication. Symptoms include severe restlessness, constant pacing, and inability to sit still. And all of this can lead to extreme anxiety and suicidal ideation. Treatment involves adjusting or switching medication under medical supervision with a good prognosis if identified early, though chronic forms exist. So there's something there that worries you, you know. So there's just a couple of I knew it was like restlessness, but this article that I saved was really good. So it just talks about the symptoms. So subjective, intense, distressing inner restlessness, dysphoria, and mental agitation. So like dysphoria is being described when I've heard about bipolar disorder. Dysphoria is kind of like when you've got euphoria, you're on top of the world and you feel great. Dysphoria is like energetic, anxious depression. You feel awful, but you've got energy. So it's really negative energy. You're more irritable, you're agitated. This is when you're likely to fall out with people. And it's also a state where you're more likely to commit suicide. When people are depressed, usually they've so little energy that they can't do anything about it. And I did a lot of my own research, like you did, Elena Bella, and I found out that a lot of people, when in a very depressive state, like a major depressive state, they're actually not as likely to commit suicide because they haven't got the energy. It's the dysphoric state where you're extremely anxious, but you've also got energy. That's when you're likely to do something. Just a few here that I want to mention, just in case you haven't heard. But so I talked about subjective, the dysphoria and the inner restlessness, objective, inability to sit still, constant pacing. I get that anyway. So, marching in place, rocking back and forth, shifting weight from foot to foot, and crossing uncrossing legs. I literally just did it there without even realizing. Behavioral, extreme impatience, irritability, panic, or in severe cases, violent outbursts, and typically caused by dopamine blocking agents, antipsychotics, and sometimes antidepressants. And the risk factors are high dosages or rapid increases in medication, older age, female gender, and underlying Parkinson's like disease or brain injury. Um, so, what they say for management, alcohol or drug withdrawal can be a cause of this too. The primary approach is to reduce dosage, switch to a lower risk medication, or discontinue the causative drug. And the medications that most likely cause it, beta blockers, i.e., propranolol, definitely found that I was more like this when I stopped taking it. The agitation was quite bad. What? Benzodiazepines, yeah, we mentioned them there. Anticholinergic drugs may be used to manage symptoms. Okay, okay, yeah. So it was just an article on that because that's something people don't know an awful lot about. So I hope that helped. Yeah, when you upped Zoloft, you experienced it. All right, very, very interesting. Yeah. Did you notice something permanent after stopping? So I'm just getting to your question, Elena Bella, where you say that you'll check it out. Thanks for mentioning. No problem at all. I have a bad feeling that these drugs damaged me irreparably. Yeah, I often fear the same thing, to be honest with you. Did you notice something permanent after stopping? To be honest with you, I don't know because I've been on one drug, then another, then another, and another. I've been on four different antidepressants, SSRIs, so selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, since I was 14. And I'm always wondering, did they damage something? Libido has been something I've noticed. I remember in school, so I went to an all boys school in Ireland, and when they're having the vulgar conversations, rugby jackal, yeah. So like, there were a lot of really bad libido problems that I had, and my sex drive was really destroyed. While I was on them, it was really bad. Like I remember going out on a date with a girl, and I was attracted to her. Like she was really good looking, very smart, and I remember thinking I got a like I got the feelings about her beforehand, and then I started thinking when she'd call me, I'd be like, "Oh, she's calling me again," and I was like, "But I like her, I'd want to spend time with her," but it just felt like I couldn't get excited for a lot of things. Do you know what I mean? And I don't mean that to sound like a did, but I wonder how it is for women. Did you get any issues with your libido. We won't go into the gory details, but that's one that's really affected me negatively. Sex drive been very badly affected. Dizziness, that's something I've got a lot of. Muscle spasms and twitches. Which you put down to the akathisia, I suppose. Ringing in the ears. What exactly is sex drive? Libido. So like when you're attracted to somebody, it's it's like when you're physically attracted to somebody, and you get the urge, we'll call it. um, well, no, let's just talk about it. You want to have sex with somebody. Do you know what I mean? You're attracted to them physically, and you want to have sex with them, that kind of thing, and you like the person. I would find that, but then I'd have issues in that department, if you know what I mean, which is quite embarrassing because I started getting these issues when I was a teenager, and I knew nothing about it, and got me teased a lot in school because lads found out about this and were like, "Oh, limp dick, we can't get it up." Is what they would say. Uh, Lads can be, well, kids can be fucking cruel, can't they? I know Rugby Jackal. Yeah, Rugby Jackal's just sitting in the background, pissing himself, laughing at this. Yeah, I don't know how else to explain it. I was trying to tiptoe around it, but yeah, you know what I mean. Perform, let's say. Of course you were. Oh, very good. We went there. We went there. It's a very real thing, though, and I'm glad we can laugh about it. But no, like it was something that really, and you realize you're different because everybody else is having these experiences, and you're not, and you don't know why, or you don't know why it's not as enjoyable. Let's say that was one that really annoyed me. The weight gain was another one. Got a lot of dizziness with the mirtazapine, so like migraines, in the corner of your eyes, you get a headache, like an intense pain in your eyes when. Yeah, geez, this would be a scandal, won't it? Talking about sex with underage people, Jesus. Well, I can confirm I'm 27, so even though some people think I'm 35, the bastards. 50, very good. I feel like we should have to ask for ID, like in nightclubs. Elena Bella, you went very quiet there. Are we breaking the law here? It's gone quiet, Rugby Jackal. God. Yeah, after that moment, it's just too awkward for everybody. But yeah, I'll just get back. So while we wait on confirmation that she is above the age of 18, is that a joke? Might be 40, but are you a dude? I've got my suspicions. At first, we thought you were a bot, and now we'll never know. Elena Bella, are you a dude? I have a sneaking suspicion now. Maybe you've been duped there, Rugby Jackal. Have we been catfished? This feels like we've been catfished. uh, can you even use the word bird anymore to describe a woman without people getting offended? I don't know. I don't mind though. Fuck it. It's been a good chat anyway, guys. Thanks for joining, keeping the thing going. 2 hours. I thought I was going to have to wrap it up early. Um, yeah, just to finish off, just so talking about jobs. So, Elena Bella, you were talking about it there. Yeah, I'm going to do the Piers Morgan thing. I'm a black lesbian. I'm a 60-year-old black lesbian. 105-year-old Chinese woman. Very good. Yeah, just before I wrap it up, Elena Bella, I was going to talk about had a whistle there, Roy Cropper moment. If anyone watches Coronation Street, but yeah. So when I actually finished university, I I was working still in a takeaway restaurant, and then left that, start looking for full time employment with my degree, and yeah, found that difficult. Then got in with a big company, Merck Sharp and Dome, and I worked with them for 5 months, and that was night shift, and they were losing the contract to. I was a contractor to a contractor, which was weird. So working for a company outside of the company, we would do the water sampling, and was actually getting on all right, and then they changed my night shift back to days, and that really messed me up. So found that tough. That kind of messed me up. I actually went on a weight loss journey at that time. Ended up losing 13.6 kilograms, so not bad. But then kind of found myself lost after I left that job and started looking for other jobs. Then started volunteering as a rugby coach. Really loved that. Got a few qualifications through that and met a great group of people. And then since that, I was working as a childcare worker. So did that for 7 months, 7 or 8 months, and now what I do is I'm a maintenance worker, so a greenskeeper kind of thing, and also picking up shit that people. I can't get over that either. Yeah, why you called Alina? Are we being catfished? I guess we'll never know. Yeah, yeah, I've been done a lot of different jobs as well. Um, and now I'm looking at doing a lab apprentice technician position. All right, Elaine, I think we need to find out. Are you really a 40-year-old man? What's your real name? Rugby Jackal and me, we're both dying to know. Let's find out. The big reveal. Are we being catfished? All right. Very good. Right. Anyone have any more questions, guys? Because it's gone on a bit longer than I thought it was going to. We've been left on a real cliffhanger with this one. If not, I'll wrap it up and hopefully do it again another time. Dogs are all barking outside now. Going mental out there. All right. If anyone has any more questions, guys, I'll answer them. If not, I'm going to wrap it up. All good? Yeah, I know what you mean. Upload. I try and get one uploaded at least a week. Yeah. Hey, Julie. Very good. Thanks for joining us, Julie. Any questions? Might stay on for another 10 minutes if you do. If not, then thanks for popping in to say hello. Yeah, they're all going mental out there, the dogs. Can hear them out there. Just sorry, I was checking one thing there. Any questions? Pop them in, guys. How's the pup? He's all good. Thanks for asking. Did you see his new toy, his new teddy bear? He absolutely loves it. Big fan. Paul Costello. I spent €10 on it, but he deserves it. He's the best boy, so not really happy with that. The girl in the shop was laughing, going, "You're spoiling them." And I was like, "I don't care. It's okay. He deserves it." Because she thought I was getting it for a child, and I was like, "No, no, no. It's for a puppy." Oh, did you not? No, I posted a few short videos on it. We're calling him Peter, and Alfie absolutely loves him. I'm trying to get him though not to leave his teddies outside because he's got about six. Yeah, he is our child, absolutely. He leaves so many of them outside, and then he brings them back in. You're kind of like, yeah. We'll find out if Elaine is a man or a woman. Still haven't found out, Rugby Jack. Um, Leaving us in the lurch here. I feel like we're being catfished. But sorry, Julie. Yeah, you can check it out anyway. I'll definitely post a few more videos on the adventures of Alfie and Peter the teddy bear. It's I feel like it's good product placement. It's almost like they knew I was coming. So one of the toilets, like the public bathrooms in our local supermarket, they have a lot of really cute teddy bears lined up. And I was looking at them and I kept thinking, I want to get another one for Alfie. And every time I was like, no, he has enough. And then I was like, but I got to get him one. And then I was like, there was one small enough that he could carry it around, because we got him Stitch, and Stitch is a big teddy bear, and he kind of feels a bit awkward carrying him around. But yeah, I got that feeling too. Conchita worst. Hey, look, we don't judge. So if you're a man or a woman or undecided, we're just being strung along for the journey, aren't we? This is going to be an ongoing theme. Um, it's like when you go on Tinder and then you end up meeting a bloke. That's what it feels like. You think you're meeting a blonde supermodel and you end up meeting a big fellow with a beard, a hairy chest, and a receding hairline. Oh well. It's like when I was texting a girl called Megan, who I thought was an Irish girl the same age as me, and then I rang the number and it ended up being an Indian bloke saying, "This is Megan." How old he was, I'm not sure, but I got catfished well and truly. Eurovision, it's a competition between apparently different countries in Europe, and yet Australia and Israel are allowed to take part in it. And it's basically just a competition where different countries sing, and it's always the same countries voting for each other, and some weird shit goes on. It seems like the weirdest contestant always wins. It doesn't really matter about the music. If you said Eurovision was about the music, that's like saying, what's it like saying? What's a good analogy to give about Eurovision? If you were choosing someone based on their singing, it's like trying to think of a good analogy for it. Basically, the music doesn't matter. It's about who was the weirdest, the most obnoxious, and the most weirdly dressed contestant. You know, like judging a boxer based on the color of their shorts or how well dressed they are, or which rugby player has the nicest looking boots. You could get someone who's actually a really good singer, but they're not going to win unless they've got something very odd and unique about them. Yeah, exactly. A competition for hairdressers. Um, the more gender confused you are and androgynous, people can't decide whether you're a man or a woman, you're going to win. So, Alina Bella, we're going to enter you in the Eurovision. Here comes Team Greece. Yep, absolutely. But yeah, Julie, just to answer, Alfie is our child. He's getting on very well. He absolutely adores his new teddy bear. He's got about six of them now, and I'm trying to get him to leave them inside the house because we're getting so many storms that I'm afraid that what's going to happen is one of them's going to get blown away, or one of the neighbours' dogs is going to come in and try and take them. I actually recently had. No, I think we're just curious at this point, to be honest. But each to their own. Um, Rugby Jackal got me curious, and then I was kind of like, when you said you were a 40-year-old man, I was there thinking, fucking hell. It's becoming an issue, all right. Yeah. Um, I couldn't tell if it was a joke or not, and then I was kind of like, well, are you? Are you really? No, Julie, we know. Talking about somebody else who joined the group. We're having a good conversation, and then there was a joke made, and I kind of got a bit confused, and I was like, "Wait, what?" Yeah, no, it's from an earlier point in the conversation where um, Alena and Rugby Jackal, we were just chatting away, and then yeah, yeah, no, we're all over 18, I presume. Well, you've said you're a 40-year-old man, so we'll take your word for it. And then Julie, yeah, all right. All right. Um, yeah, Julie, I was just going to say to you, I recently had, oh yeah, Grant, had an issue with a dog owner with Alfie. Alfie was attacked by another dog, and the owner tried claiming that Alfie attacked him, and I was kind of just going, that's not what happened. And could you muzzle your dog? You know, because I become a big parent when Alfie gets hurt, and I'm kind of like going to defense mode and been having a bit of issues with this guy. You know, he ignores me when he sees me now, and I'm kind of like, just muzzle your dog. That's all I'm asking. But he's being immature about it, so it is what it is. Got onto the dog warden in our local area, and the fingers crossed it gets mended soon because sorted out this week. Should know more tomorrow. I ran into a fella where he saw the event happen, so I was kind of like, could I get your phone number? And if the dog warden needs to ring you, you can confirm my story. So I was like, grand, perfect. He got on to me, and I had backup, you know, because they're trying to determine now if the dog is on the restricted list, you know, the dogs that need to be muzzled, or on a really short leash or lead, whatever you call it. Now in America they call it a leash. We call it a lead here in Ireland and the UK. But yeah, it's just something that's been worrying me. You know, people are just irresponsible with their dogs, and when it's simply remedied as well, just muzzle your dog and problem solved. You know, the muzzle's now fine as well. So yeah, all good on that front anyway. My connection's becoming unstable, guys. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks very much for everyone for joining. I hope you are all well. Any more questions, or are we done? If anybody has any more questions, please leave them in there, and I'll answer one more. I sound Scottish, really? I'm Irish. Yeah, not Scottish. No, saying your name with a Scottish accent be Elena Bella. Freedom. No, I'm not from the UK. Um, yeah, yeah, I do. Rugby Jackal. I do believe in God. It's kind of hard to at this time, isn't it? Like it's really difficult to, but no, I still do. Even though it's becoming more difficult and all the shit going on in the world now. But yeah, no, it's hard to do it. But I kind of think we're being tested, aren't we, to see how our faith goes. see if we're true believers or not, without getting too philosophical. I don't follow the Catholic Church though, for obvious reasons. After what they got up to, I think it's kind of hard to. I mean, it's all right. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I don't mind discussing it. Um, yeah, why not? I do believe in God, Rugby Jackal, but don't believe in the Catholic Church because of what they got up to. I kind of try and avoid, blaming God for the sins of man if you want. And again, I could go down a rabbit hole talking about this all day, but yeah, short answer, yes, I do. Do you? Do all of you actually? I know it's getting harder and harder to believe, but then we got to keep the faith strong. Certainly, based on the Epstein files and everything that's come out about them, I'm certainly starting to believe that there's a devil. And if there's a devil, there has to be a God, doesn't there? So yeah, I do. Anything else, guys? Yeah, yeah. Everyone, I think, has a higher power, don't they? Are you, Julie, are you Southern Baptist or what kind of Protestantism? Because I know there's a lot of different religions in America, and there's a big debate over religion. Um, so yeah, it's a big topic, and it's always a very divisive topic, isn't it? I think it's important to believe in something. I can never get my head around the idea of people who believe in absolutely nothing and think that when we die, that's it. That's a terrifying thing, even to say now. I get the shakes when I feel that. I'm kind of like, I don't want to think about that sort of thing. But yeah, it scares me. It scares me when I have to think about that. So, anything else, guys? Anything else you want to ask? Oh, all right. The Jehovah's Witnesses, yeah. Yeah, the Scientology church or temple or whatever they call it that opened up in Fairhouse. My dad used to live near Fairhouse and they came by. What's it all about? And what did they say? Can't wait to hear what they said. 'Cause that's quite a long answer that they'll have to give. I'd be quizzing them and asking them so many questions. Can't wait to hear what their answer was there now. But yeah, it's getting late, guys. Here in Ireland, anyway, it's past 11 o'clock. Um, the fella on the left took a sip out of the Barry's tea and said, "I don't know. We've never got this far before." Feels like a Father Ted joke in here, doesn't it? No one's ever let us into the fucking house before. Yeah, Hugh Grant's new film. I was just there thinking of that, when he shows them the door and he's there like, which one do you want to go to, believer or non-believer? That's brilliant. Definitely feels like a Father Ted skit when they come in trying to teach people about the Lord, and it's like, all right, what now, lads? I don't know. We've never gotten in the front door before. We never got past the first base. Right. Um, I may have to revise and do some more. We do a Bible group next week. Yeah. Thanks everyone who's joined. If that's it, then I'll wrap it up, guys. It's getting late now, so that's a really good place to. Fucking hell, rubbish. Yeah, hell indeed. Nice meeting you, Elena. Yeah, it's all in good humour. It's just, I was there thinking, 40-year-old man, that's a joke. So, and then I was kind of like, oh, right, very good. on rugby tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely. Is there new people joining? Even just to say hi. Yeah, Julie, I hope he didn't mean it. I can't get up with that either. Just a joke, I think, though. Yeah, nice meeting you as well, Elena Bella. Don't worry, we don't mind whatever gender you are. Or it's just when Rugby Jackal said it, I was there like, hold on. I don't know, is it a joke or is it serious? It was funny anyway, so you made us laugh. Thank you. Yeah, it was nice meeting you too. I just really hope that I'm not being catfished and then it's going to come back to bite me on the arse in a few years. I make a video and it's like, oh yeah, remember when you did this? And I'm kind of like, oh fuck, I slipped up. Yeah, thanks guys though. I really mean it, and I'm glad that we could have a laugh about it because it got very philosophical at times. Actually, Elena, are you Greek Orthodox? What's your stance on religion? Just before we leave, feel like we have to get your thoughts on this before we wrap it up. I'm still a Catholic. I would call myself a lapsed Catholic. Yeah, yeah. So Greek Catholic, basically. Yeah, very good. All right. And on that note, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, Mass is ended. Let us go in peace. A very Irish Catholic way to wrap it up. All right, guys. Thanks very much for joining. This has been a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, when we were in. When we were in Spain before Rugby Jackal, before I do end the stream, you know the sangria. I love sangria, and it was in a big wine glass, and it was kind of dull. So I was there holding up the glass when supper was ended. He took the cup, gave it to his disciples, and said, "Take this, all of you, and drink of it. And you know the rest. This is the cup of my blood, which will be given up for you." And then my mate just started tapping the glass. Ding a ling a ling a ling. Or did you see there was a piss take of Sunday Mass where they start giving out ecstasy and acid strips like LSD instead of the Eucharists, and everybody's saying Jesus is coming down off the cross? That's sacrilege. That's sacrilege. I shouldn't be saying that. But it was so funny because they're taking the LSD, and next thing you know, they're just there kind of go, my God, Jesus is walking. He's coming down off the cross. He's alive. I feel like we have to joke about this. So if anyone, my apologies, Julie and Elena, but us Irish Catholics, because of all the misery we've endured, yeah. My brother used to take some of them and eat them for lunch. He was like, I wonder what these taste like with ice cream. To be fair, given all the shit that we've been through with the Catholic Church in Ireland, I feel like we have a right to laugh about it and take the piss. That's our way of coping. And we've had a lot of shit thrown at us as Irish people. Very good. Whereabouts are they from, Julie? And what part of Ireland? Oh, I think my nannies would be turning in their grave if they could hear me right now. Both of them were fiercely religious. Yeah, they would not be happy if they could hear what I'm saying right now. Never tried. I was always a good Catholic in that regard. I remember before when I offered to give out the Eucharist, and Tommy Tiernan talked about it before, but it was so funny. All right, yeah, yeah. But they call themselves Scots Irish. I have a bit of Belfast Protestant in my bloodline. I've also got Armagh Catholic, so Republican blood and Belfast Protestant. My great great grandfather moved down to Wexford from Belfast and converted to Catholicism when he moved down south. Very good. Yeah, yeah. A lot of Americans in the south are, aren't they? Was looking at ethnicity of different states. when you get to Alabama, and like correct me if I'm wrong, but there a lot of people in Appalachia as well, like West Virginia and Kentucky, Alabama, and then Georgia. A lot of Scots Irish blood there. Were given pretty bad land, weren't they? They all came over and was looking at the history of it before. Appalachian blood is heavily Scots Irish anyway. So West Virginia and Kentucky. Um, it's interesting, but obviously, like in the northeast. All right, very good. So I was right then. Are you impressed? I've done my research. Yeah, obviously the Irish Catholics migrated a bit further north to Massachusetts and New York. Boston, Massachusetts, getting the fucking car. Great accent. There's so many good accents in the US. It's funny though, Julie, because I've met a few. I've met a few Americans when they come over to Ireland, and thank you very much. Do you ever get this? Few Americans like they'll say, "Oh my God, I love your Irish accent," and then I'll say, "I love your Californian accent." Let's say, and they'll go, "I have an accent." I'm like, "Yeah, an American accent." Julie's probably just rolling her eyes there with this one. West Virginia, Mountain Mama. I used to think, right, so this is pretty bad, but I used to think the song went Mounting Mama. So, like all those jokes of, like the film Wrong Turn, the movie Wrong Turn, where they get attacked. Oh, thank you very much. The 40-year-old man is saying I sound deeply masculine. Thank you very much. I don't know. I have an Irish accent, so whatever you say about that. Yeah, I used to think, sorry, Country Road, Take Me Home, West Virginia, Mounting Mama. So I thought I was talking about inbreeding. Because I remember hearing stories, like movies like Deliverance and um, yeah, Deliverance, and then you've got Wrong Turn and The Hills Have Eyes and movies like that. And I remember people start joking about Appalachia and all the inbreeding that went on in the Appalachian Trail. It was quite bad, like it was quite derogatory, like, but yeah, that was there's like all these different stereotypes about Appalachian people. Oh, hello. We're moving on now. Welcome, Greg. So nice to have you. Pacific Northwest. Very good. Nice to see you. All right, I'm gonna have to stick around for a bit longer then because Greg's here. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. um, we've a new member of the group now, Elena Bella. She's made herself known, or he has. How you doing, Greg? It's really good to see you. I'm glad you joined. Um, yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened earlier on, but I came in early just to make sure. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Should look at the royal family, Julie, the Habsburg jaw and all that shit. People used to joke about that as well in Ireland, saying we're all inbred, and then we're like English people would say, and we're like, look at the British royal family. With those weak bottom jaws. That Habsburg jaw is just ugh. King Charles of Spain. Did you ever see him? Ugh. But in Ireland, luckily, we never kowtowed to a royal family, so we preserved ourselves somewhat. Yeah, it was a done thing, wasn't it? They said it about us, but then royal families did it all the time. So go figure. Greg, you got any questions? Anything you'd like to know? Um, please hit me up. Got 2 Americans in now, so that's good. We've got 2 Americans, 2 Irish, and a Greek. We're not quite sure on whether the Greek person is a 40-year-old man or a woman. We haven't found that out yet. Still, we haven't found that out. Alp's good, Greg. Thanks for asking. He's loving his new teddy bear. And yeah, thank you. He's asked as well, Rugby Jackal. How's Alf? Alf is living the high life and enjoying his teddy bears. I was saying to Julie there and the rest of the group that I was just having words with the local dog warden because Alfie got attacked a while ago and I had a word with the owner about muzzling his dog, and then it took a while. He said he would. He never did. He's ignored me. And I'm just worried about Alfie's safety. You know, every time I see that dog, I'm kind of nervous that something's going to happen. Yeah, everybody does love Alfie. Alfie makes our hearts grow a little bit larger without getting dangerously enlarged. Yeah, I'm going to give that a love heart for sure. Absolutely. That deserves a love heart. And that's the thing, you know, Alfie always is he's just there to make me feel good about life and enjoy the innocent stuff about life because there's enough shit going on in the world right now without worrying about that. But when he got attacked, I started getting really bad panic attacks every time we bring him to that beach. So I had words with that owner and he kind of said I was being ridiculous and over the top. But as you know, Alfie's my baby, so I wasn't having any of that shit. And now the fella just ignores me, you know, and he drove off before. I was going over to say, look, do you remember we spoke? Could you please muzzle your dog? But instead of just having a nice, pleasant word with me, he drove off. And I don't want to ever get a dog put down or anything, you know, but the dog's aggressive. It attacked Alfie and bit my brother. So could have very easily had the dog put down, but we're not like that. Spoke to a man who was there and saw the incident, got his phone number. So he said he'd back me up. So I'm like, cheers. So hopefully we get that sorted now in the next week. It's just been giving me a lot of unnecessary anxiety, you know, because I worry a lot about Alf. Exactly, yeah, Julie. And the owner told me before his dog was aggressive and yet tried to claim that Alfie attacked his dog. And I was there like, you know he's aggressive. Alfie went to say hello to him as we were putting the lead on him. And he had Alfie around the neck and my brother wrestled the dog off. I wrestled Alfie into my arms and just kind of held him there. And I was obviously terrified, you know. I was like, yeah, okay. Luckily though, you're right, Alfie is laid back, but in this case he growled and snarled his teeth, you know, showing the teeth, and I was like, good boy, because I was like, at least he is defending himself. You know, and he hasn't been anxious. Our neighbour's dog is actually for the Americans in the audience. Our neighbour owns an American bulldog called Rocky. Personally, I prefer American bulldogs to British bulldogs. You know, British bulldogs are really kind of fat and have that snarly mouth, whereas the American bulldogs are more lean and friendly. I find they're stronger though. You know, they can cause more damage definitely, but he got attacked and is afraid to go to too many places with Rocky. Yeah, Rocky. What a dog. The Philly dog. Be strong now, Rocky. But luckily for us, Alfie hasn't gotten very anxious. You know, not that often. There was a time where I thought, yeah, they are a dangerous breed for sure. All depends on the owner as well. You know, it all depends on who's leading the way because yeah, I think Philly. I think Pennsylvania is near West Virginia, but I don't know about Philadelphia. Oh, sorry to hear, Greg. But really happy you joined. So definitely give a heart for that. Definitely getting a heart. Yeah. Sorry to hear about your brother. It's no, it's tough. I know you were saying as well you had a couple of issues of your own, and always putting other people first, Greg. That's the kind of guy you are. So I'm really happy that you joined us live. I am kind of struggling to get my head around that as well. Um, you guys have supported my channel so much, so it's really good to have you all here. Means the world. Gotten loads of comments as well in this. Yeah, yeah. Um, Before I get onto that, there, Greg, I hope you're doing better and your own health is okay. I know you've been talking about it. I hope your garden is looking very Irish. And how are the Irish cats getting on? Are you still screaming, you dirty little beggars? Very good. Could say a prayer for you anyway. You always manage to tune in anyway and have a kind word. So I really appreciate that. Very good. And how are things in Washington State? I was looking up times for Washington State, and they kept giving me Washington D.C., and I was like, no, very different. I was like, yes, the two are quite different. I heard that people from Washington State get very annoyed when they get mistaken for Washington D.C. Yeah, Julie, you've got a really good point there. Um, find a lot of people, like a lot of scumbags own dogs like pit bulls and mastiffs, and that's because they want to make them. Seattle is in Washington. Yep, indeed. Washington the state, and then Seattle is in that state. It's meant to be like very good shop, very good for cafes, isn't it, Greg? Where's the best place to get a cup of coffee in Seattle? But getting to Julie's point, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I was looking it up and it kept saying Washington D.C. and I was there like, no, Washington State. It's different. It's very different. Turns out it was. The time zones as well were very different, so I was glad that I insisted this is wrong. They're giving me the wrong information here. And yeah, no, really, really happy that I could do the live video, and it'll be something I'm hoping to do more regularly, and hopefully get the hang of it a bit better. It's a bit rusty, but being look at the look at the questions, like there's loads already, um, which is really good. Thanks for sending them all in, guys. The weather here is wild as well, Greg. We had another storm. I actually put a big wooden pallet on top of our bins and it blew off the bins. That's how powerful it was. Yeah, so I feel you. Things are mad as well around the world right now, aren't they? Um, can't be easy in the US. Like at the moment, I feel for the people of America because it feels like the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. So now the fact that you guys tune in and support what I do is really, really massive, and I really do appreciate it. And that's why, yeah. I mean, talking about that question earlier about do you believe in God, it feels like biblical times now. We've had the storms, we've had floods, right? We've had the fires as well, we've had drought, plague, coronavirus, I'd say counts as plague. Geez, we got a load of locusts and a couple of frogs, and we're away in a hack. Keep saying it to my brother. Maybe we need to save up all these wooden pallets and build an ark. It's crazy, isn't it? It really is mental. Um, what's going on right now? It's getting to 11:30 here, guys. Which is quite late. Place here, best coffee. The coffee bean. Ah, yes, I hope you do. Please do. Yeah, the Habsburg jaw is mental. There is a coffee bean over here as well, a place called Coffee Bean, but I don't know if it's the same franchise or whatever. A few good spots locally as well, Greg. I really hope you do make it over here. I hope to go to the US someday as well, but doesn't look like it'll be anytime soon. And you'd probably say yourself, probably don't go right now. D, yeah, it's D for dictatorship. Julie. Yeah, no, it's crazy what's happening in America right now. It really is, and in Ireland as well. Like we're not getting off scot free either. You know, we always think little old Ireland, but Now, where I am is a lovely part of the world, and Greg, I hope you do make it over someday. Hope your brother gets well. Also, hope the cats are doing fine. Do the cops check up on comments in Ireland like in England? They're looking at doing it, Julie. They were looking at putting in rules and laws so that you can be charged based on what you say online, and if it's considered hate speech, they're looking at jail sentences. The UK have really clamped down on that, so racist comments online and homophobic slurs, that sort of thing. We haven't gotten there yet because, luckily for us in that way, Ireland is incredibly slow to actually get anything done. And if you don't believe me, check out the Children's Hospital. They're looking at they're taking the piss, so now they're going into the year 3000 and it's saying the Children's Hospital is finally done. Yeah, yeah, exactly, rugby jackal. Unless it incites hatred, um, like if you're kind of getting a group of people to start attacking a specific person or group or defame someone, I think that's always been a rule. If it makes people think lesser of you, then yeah, that's kind of been there already. But now they're looking at hate speech laws. So the hate speech laws are if you target a specific group, race, or whatever, whatever creed, religion can be done as well. Funny enough, actually, a group of Irish footballers said it before. So James McLean, for anyone who doesn't know, he's from Derry. He's a Catholic from Derry, and he received a lot of anti-Irish slurs because he grew up under British rule and had family members murdered by the IRA. By the IRA. I mean, he probably did as well, but the British Army would have murdered his own family members. So when he played in the UK, he refused to wear the poppy or stand for the British or the English national anthem, and that got him a lot of hate. Shane Duffy, another fella from Derry as well, County Derry. Yeah, no problem. Nice. It was nice meeting you, Elena. Had some really good insights anyway. Um, Good luck in Eurovision. See it. I'll have to learn some Greek for next time. Daxi means thank you, doesn't it? Let me know. But yeah, like when it comes to hate speech, it seemed like they were very selective because a lot of Northern Irish footballers are, Catholics from the north of Ireland who played for the Republic received a lot of hatred and a lot of very disgusting comments, but nothing was done about it. So it's kind of like, okay, so you're only going to do it for one specific group and not another. Yeah, and I think they're definitely selective in how they go about it. Put it that way. And guys, I was just wondering, it is getting quite late actually, and I've been going for nearly 3 hours. Very glad I did. Might do. Okay, we'll do one more question. Anybody has one more, we'll do that. And I'll probably get sidetracked because Greg joined us, and I'm really happy Greg's here. I'm happy as are all here, but I really hoped Greg could make it. Um, if anybody has one more, please let me know. My phone leads me to believe American are not welcomed, and I get it. I will act as Irish as possible. Mom always called me a bra bra laddie. I watch you so much, barely noticed the accent. Thank you very much. I have to say, any Americans I've ever met in Ireland have always been eager to learn anything I had to tell them, and always being quite friendly, because you do build up this stereotype, especially with New Yorkers, that they're rude and they'll walk right over you if you die in the street. You're on the opposite side of the northwest, Greg, and yeah, I think stereotypes definitely play a role. We always have the stereotype of the American with the big camera around the neck, the khaki pants, the big long socks, and heavy shoes. Going, oh my god! As much as Americans have their stereotypes about Irish people, I'm sure they're not all true. Will say that Lucky, I've never seen a box of Lucky Charms in my life, so Lucky Charms and leprechauns, and we never say top of the morning to you with our leprechaun hats. It's Paddy's Day soon, actually, so no, looking forward to that. Um, will they be dyeing the water green again, Greg? What do they do in the south, Julie? Do they dye the water green there as well, or be interested to know? Nah, Greg, you're Irish. You're definitely Irish. Like Aidan Quinn. Might have grown up in America, but your blood is Irish. Very good. And it'd be great one day to meet you. To meet anybody from this, actually. Rugby Jackal's probably the most likely one, to be fair. Or Irish Celtic Chris. All right, yeah. Yeah, Chicago's also very Chicago. So that's a good accent as well. Flush your floor flushing keister off my property. That don't make no never no more than me. Because it's so close to Canada as well, people forget. I was watching the Ed Gein documentary, and the Wisconsin accent is brilliant. Oh, I don't know. Wisconsin seems to be full of Ed cases. You've got Ed Gein, then you've got Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah, not too far. I always get on well with my subscribers. Meet the Irish ones first. Cabin Daly's a nice spot as well. Speaking of Aidan Quinn, didn't he grow up there for a while? Oh, very good, Julie. Nice to hear. Up the Irish. Americans of Irish descent, obviously, and more proud of their roots than we are. Be nice if we could get a bit of that in Ireland, you know. It's definitely something that we're losing for sure. And with our liberal government, it's not hard to see why. Well, actually, Julie, I was looking at the deep south, and I've always wanted to visit Texas. And that was somewhere where I always thought I'd love to see, go fishing for catfish. You know, Louisiana as well. That's a state where I was looking at, and I was kind of looking and thinking, oh, that'd be good to go catfishing in the bayou. That's a really cool accent. Yeah, yeah. Canada's only up the road, Greg. I'm always interested in accents, and I was just like, Louisiana's deep south, and we'd Leah G from New Orleans. It's a very cool one, real French influence on it. I won't say nothing. The restaurant, they say restaurant, and then Mardi Gras. It's a really cool accent. Yeah, Bob Geldof went to Blackrock College. We were bad mouthing Bob Geldof the other day. Yeah, they would be Catholic, wouldn't they? Because there's a real French and Spanish influence, and Irish as well, I believe. We're everywhere. What's it like? There's certain parts of it that look really nice. New Orleans, it looks really nice. A lot of food, a lot of really good food. They say the cuisine there is meant to be great. And there's a spot they call Little Haiti because of all the Caribbean people that come in there. Poor people there that went through a tough time with Hurricane Katrina. Tuesday. So it's meant to be a very corrupt date as well. Don't know how true that is. Bombo clat. Right. Thank you everybody who's joined. Really appreciate it, guys. Think I will have to wrap it up there. I've already gone way over what I was planning on doing, but I'm glad that I did. It's really good that you all your messages are getting retracted. Are you doing that, Rugby Jackal, or is YouTube doing it? Anyway, we've got loads, so no, it was really good talking to you guys, and I'm delighted that the second Q and A went way better than the first. Thank you for everyone who joined, you know, and especially people who made the effort to get here. And Greg's watching from his car, so that's some effort right there. Julie joined late, but we're really glad you joined. Helena, it was nice to meet you, even if we don't know what gender you are. We're going to find out next time. God damn it. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for joining. Identified cameras, etc., and anything I thought was a bit. All right, fair enough. No bother. Thank you, Greg. Love that. Really do. Rugby Jackal, they can only read them after, or they can only read them during this chat. They won't be able to see them once it goes up, so don't worry about that. Yeah, so after it gets uploaded, nobody can see it after that. You'll hear me responding to them. That's it. Unless I decide to call anybody out. Fat chance of that. Yeah, no, it's just really good. Yeah, no, don't worry about it. Like, it'll be gone afterwards anyway, so you'll be fine. Just clicking through there, giving a bit of love for Ireland. There we are. Yeah, it is a good rule to live by. Anything untoward. Exactly. All we were doing was really digging into Elena's past life. Peace out. Very happy to hear from everybody. Thanks for joining, guys. It's been great to chat with you. And thanks for making this a much better, more sober Paddy's Day than last time. Bye, Julie. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, good luck to our friend Elena in the Eurovision Song Contest. Pierce Brosnan's Icelandic accent still makes me cringe. All right, guys. Thanks very much for joining. Happy Paddy's Day if I don't see you before this. Will we go live for Paddy's Day? I don't know, maybe. I'll put it up anyway and see. This did a lot better than I was hoping, so thanks very much for helping me out, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Slán go fóill. Bye for now. All right, guys, see you. Thanks very much for joining.